All right. What is going on, everybody? And welcome on back to another episode of the Cinema Lords podcast. Episode number 6. We are on to our second hand. We're rolling strong. It has been a crazy day for your host today. I had a wild morning.
A lot of drama.
Adversity.
Big drama.
Then the Sporting game had just as much drama. Sporting ended up getting the dub again today, 2-0, but didn't get both goals until after the 90th minute.
Oh, nice.
But able to pull out another dub, Champions League against Tottenham. So love to see that for the Sporting issues out there. But like I said, crazy morning. We have a big show for you guys today. Hopefully this show is a little bit more what we expect and calm and not so chaotic. But before we get into all of our topics, we have a lot to cover. We're going to be doing our recaps for Rings of Power, for She-Hulk, for House of the Dragon. We got some news to talk about, D23 especially, which was quite a letdown. Yeah, definitely. But before we get into it, let's go around the table real quick. Back on the ones and twos, better than ever. He's here again, Mr. Los.
What's up, baby? How's it going?
Good, baby.
Glad to be back. Episode 6. Picking up steam. Let's go.
We sure are. Happy to have you here. Thanks for helping out, as always. Couldn't do the show without you. And then back again, making his second debut, his second episode on the pod, Mr. Seth Rogers, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing?
Good to be back again, fellas. I like being tied for the league lead in appearances, so glad I passed the test the first time around, and we're back. Got a lot of things to talk about tonight. Some, like I said, some news, some show recaps. Let's get right into it. Let's go.
Yeah, man. The feedback I gotta say was real good from you on that first episode. I got a lot of people said that you fit right in, that you were natural. So
like a glove, baby.
Yeah. Did you have fun the first time?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, it's cool to have this platform to talk about the shit that we talk about. Sitting on the couch until 2 a.m. talking about. So it's nice to get it out there and have people recognize it. So let's keep it going.
Amen, baby. Amen. So I guess we should start with just one little tidbit about the show. I know I talked to you guys about doing the Cobra Kai breakdowns. We're also going to be doing it. We decided to let the people have a couple more days to view the season, especially with the first NFL Sunday coming up. I know a lot of people probably spent their Sunday watching football. So we are still going to be doing that. Don't you worry. Loved season 5. Cannot wait to talk to you guys about it. Me and Los, I think, are going to be sitting down hopefully on Thursday with Seth as well.
Yeah, I'll be producing it.
There we go.
Getting back into, I'm actually on season 2 right now, so
love to hear that.
I'm hopping on the recommendation train. Yeah, I've been ripping through it. I like these half-hour episodes so much more too. It's so nice to just like rip through 4 26-minute episodes versus the hour-long ones. And like I said, it's good to just binge watch. So yeah, I've just been ripping through them. But
and every episode
season 1 was just like that.
Yep.
On to the next one. So yeah, so far so good.
Well, we'd love to hear that. Another Cobra in the house, ladies and gentlemen. So, like I said, gonna be busting that out. Hopefully, I think on Thursday night. So be on the lookout for that. So I guess we'll start with our guest today. We're gonna be starting with Seth. The last time we talked to you, the last time you were here, you had just started True Detective season 1.
Yep.
Any update on that?
Yeah, ended up finishing it.
Finished it. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, the whole season I was a big fan of. I kind of liked the first half of the season a little bit more. Like I said, I still ended up. It seemed like the first half was more about McConaughey and Woody Harrelson.
Yep.
And the second half was more about figuring out the murder and the crime and all that. So I was a little bit more still intrigued ultimately with the first half, where like the relationship between McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. But I mean, I think the way that they tied it perfectly, even years down the road, the fact that they were still able to tie it together. And I thought it was, when they were interviewing them, the other detectives were interviewing the older versions of them.
Yep.
I thought it was like way after the mystery was solved and all that, but it was pretty much right at the same timeline. Yep. Yeah, so I thought that was cool.
Coming back to solve the case years later.
Yeah, like I said, the whole season was awesome. I'm not a huge TV show guy, so for me to say that, it means a lot, but yeah, big fan of the season.
Love to hear that.
Have you picked up smoking cigarettes since you watched that season?
I have not, but if I did, it would be just Matthew McConaughey, one rip, half the butt gone, like Bernie Mac and Bad Santa, same thing, just ripping through it. Yeah, it made me want a cigarette really bad.
The two biggest chiefs of all time might be those two characters right there. But happy to hear that you enjoyed it for sure. You and Ledoux both gave it, high praise. So glad.
I just want to be clear. Season 2, no.
No.
We just want to be clear on that.
Season 3,
don't waste your time.
Season 3 was good. It wasn't like as good as season 1 was. Yeah. It was still a good watch. I enjoyed it. Season 2, I mean, Tim Riggins is in it, and you know how I feel about Tim Riggins.
Yeah.
I couldn't even finish the season. It was that bad.
Wow.
Yeah, they make Vince Vaughn like this big like kingpin mobster tough guy. Didn't buy
That's
that.
not his role. Yeah, that's not his role. Come on.
Colin Farrell, who I've never been a fan of. It didn't have didn't have anything that season 1 had.
All right, we'll leave it as it is.
Yeah.
Good season 1.
People did not like it. Too. Critics, everybody, the whole thing.
Yeah, that's what I
Audience just
remember
didn't
too.
like it.
So yeah.
It's tough to follow that up, you know.
It sure is. He was writing. So was it Nick Pizzotti there, the guy who wrote the show? He spent like he said like his whole entire life basically writing that first season of True Detective. He had spent years poring over that script, and then of course after it was such a huge hit, HBO's like, all right, what do you got for season 2? And then he has to turn around and write a new story in a
few
year
months,
or two. Yeah. So obviously it's gonna not, it's just not gonna hold up.
It's kind of like how Fargo was too, right? Like different, like new season, but
Fargo?
different story and like different characters and things.
I was
like
gonna say that's a show that we haven't talked about that we're definitely gonna get into at some point. There are some seasons of Fargo that I love, and then there are a couple that I'm just like, nah, I didn't even finish them.
Yep.
But yeah, it's the same concept. It's different plot, different characters, same setting though, and stuff like that.
I liked Fargo up until the last season. The last season with
Was that the
Chris Rock, yeah.
Chris
Chris
Rock
Rock.
was in that
Didn't
too?
do it for me, but every other season besides that, I loved it.
Season 3 I struggled with too, to be honest. Season 2 I loved. Season 1 seasons 1 and 2 I thought were fantastic. I actually think I liked the second one a little bit more than the first one. But that's actually a free recommendation. If you haven't seen any of Fargo, guys, go check out Fargo. It's a TV series. It's good. I don't know. It's got to be streaming on something. But you guys can find that somewhere.
Yeah, it's on. I know it's an FX show, so it's probably on Hulu. Yeah, I
it'll
think
be on
Hulu. Yeah.
There you go. That's definitely a good watch, like I said. So let's go into our news and stuff like that. You said you had a couple things you wanted to touch on, right?
Yeah. So first off, following through with the podcast from last week, I know I was watching. You were talking to Ledoux about how he went to go see Jaws.
Yes.
First off, I want to get this out of the way, and I want to look directly into the camera. I didn't know that there were so many people our age that have not seen Jaws. If you have not seen Jaws, I don't care if you got to buy a VHS. I don't care if you have to go see it in the movie theater. Go watch the movie, please.
Yeah, we're looking at you, Phil.
Yeah, anybody. Like, I've heard it from a couple people from work and stuff, too. They were like, oh, you saw Jaws? Like, I don't know. I've never seen... Like, please just watch the movie. Like, I'm not kidding you. It's an amazing movie. Like, I'm in the same boat as these guys. Like, top 5, top 10 movies of all time. Best summer movie of all time.
Yeah, it's a great.
You were with us at IMAX.
Yeah, just before I get into it, please go watch that movie. But going into that, and like you were saying, you want to see that there's more movies that they're coming out again with like 4K, and this one's going to be close to your heart because your heart will go on. Because in February, close to Valentine's Day, the 25th anniversary of Titanic, and they are doing the same thing, re-releasing it in 4K. I don't know if it's the 3D version or not, or like 3D 4K. But right before Valentine's Day, they're coming out with it. Same thing as Jaws,
that.
So if it's anything how it was with like the sound and better special
Clean it
effects,
all up.
highly recommended. So
Hell yeah.
I thought
a young Leonardo DiCaprio in 4K.
yeah, exactly. Like, beautiful. It got to be a beautiful sight.
I'm a huge Titanic fan. For those of you guys that don't know, I've seen the movie quite literally like a billion times. I fucking love
and I'm
it.
the same way too. If you haven't seen it, or if you don't like the Titanic, I'm more like you got to dump in your pants kind of guy.
Oh,
like,
yeah. If
it's
you
a great movie.
The only guys that are still like that are a few macho men that are still out there. Like, oh, you're the Titanic guy. It's like, yeah, I bet you bet your ass I do. The movie's fantastic.
Exactly.
My favorite movie is The Hurt Locker.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. I had no
exactly.
idea though. I hadn't heard that at all. That's sick.
So that'll be in February, and then the next big piece I want to get into hasn't come out yet, but I kind of want to talk about the train wreck right now that is Don't Worry, Darling, before it even comes out.
Yep, we have mentioned the movie a little bit, but none of the drama that's surrounding it lately.
So just to recap, so we have Olivia Wilde directing it, and her and Florence Pugh, who's also in the movie, had a big fallout. They whenever they're like publicly, like if they have a press conference for the movie or whatever it is, like they're on complete opposite ends. They give each other the cold shoulder. Shia LaBeouf was kicked off the set.
Yep. He was the original
So
star.
he says-
He was originally supposed to be Harry Styles.
Right.
How you
says
gonna
he
kick
was-
off Shia LaBeouf?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, between that and Florence Pugh, it's like there's one common denominator here, and I feel like it's Olivia Wilde. He said that he didn't want to work with it. And then if you guys saw the video probably like a week or so ago, Harry Styles spitting on Chris Pine.
Yeah,
Or,
I saw that,
allegedly
but-
spitting. I'm a sucker for I'm going to buy into it just for the sake of my argument.
It
like,
almost looked like a play. Like he didn't actually spit. It looked like he kind of went like more like almost like a.
Yeah, exactly. And, they kind of denied it since. But, just for the sake of my argument, I'm going to tie that in. So,
Plus, he's also banging Olivia Wilde now.
Okay, yeah.
They're banned.
Didn't even know that.
That's what started a lot of the fallout with her and Pugh is that Olivia Wilde was still married Who is it, Sudeikis?
Jason Sudeikis, my guy.
That's
And
right.
They hadn't officially separated yet, and on the set they said that her and Harry Styles were seen like just not really giving a fuck, just canoodling right out in the open. Basically.
Got it. So yeah, just between the drama and like I know the early ratings for it have not been good.
Awful.
At all.
Not good.
So yeah, I just think it's crazy. You know, it like goes to show sometimes those like star-studded casts and there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. Like sometimes it doesn't pan out, and like I don't know, I just find it very entertaining so far. Like the drama leading up to this movie that hasn't even come out yet. Like if it officially comes out and then bombs, like it's just one of those all-time fails. You know what I mean?
And we mentioned
Don't worry,
also,
darling.
It's one of the only two
Worry,
movies
darling.
that Warner Brothers is putting out for the rest of the year. So it's like they need that movie to
Yes,
do good.
they're on pins and
already-
needles.
Exactly. Early reviews were bad. I know that it did. I think it was Venice, the festival, but it had like the shortest one of the applause. It was still like a 4-minute applause. They said, and it was the shortest of the festival, which just goes to show how ridiculous.
Was that the same one? Brandon Fraser got like a
Yes,
20-minute
yeah.
standing
Yep.
ovation.
Yeah, can we
for
just
it?
address this, by the way? What is up with these like 10-minute standing ovations?
all those film
recently?
festivals. It's like it's like the
What-
snobby
what-
snobs. So
yeah,
they
what is
praise
this?
the art and stuff like that. So they do these like epically long applauses for these movies.
I think the girl who played
just
was
absurd.
playing Marilyn
Obnoxious.
Monroe too in that movie.
like
her
11
movie.
minutes I
Yeah,
saw.
got a big standing ovation.
I'm looking
Brandon
forward to
Fraser.
seeing that. That's this month. Actually, that's like a week or two away. So I
Nice.
think September 23rd, maybe, or something like that. That's coming up very
Hey,
soon.
do you guys get standing ovations when you're done with your done with your job at the end of the day?
I wish.
I do not. No, I do not.
I wish I just get like an attaboy son from my dad when I'm done with the day with my job. But yeah, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. Even with all the drama, actually, all the drama and even the bad reviews, if anything, almost makes me in a way more excited to see the movie than I
Yeah,
already
just
was.
in a different
But
tone.
just in a
Like
different tone.
you
Yeah,
want, it's
exactly.
one of those car crashes that you don't want to turn like you want to see the car crash when it happens.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, I just thought all this drama leading up to this movie is pretty entertaining to say the least.
I would say it's probably, unless I'm forgetting something, it was the movie that I was. Oh, except for probably Black Panther. It was the movie that I was the most excited for the remainder of this year.
Yeah,
And now all this is happening. It's chaotic. But we'll see. I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out either way. If it's a crash and burn, we'll enjoy that. And we'll sit here
Exactly.
and we'll rip into it. You know what I mean? We'll have fun with it.
exactly.
My only thing I wanted to talk about today was D23, which was over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday was the big presser. Lucasfilms, Marvel, all the big platforms supposed to be putting out their shit, and it's supposed to be this huge thing that they build up to all year. The Disney Expo. And they were saying how they only announced basically half their hand at the Marvel convention last month, and now like the other half was supposed to come out. We're all excited. We're supposed to be getting the Scarlet Witch movie. We're supposed to be getting the cast of Fantastic Four. We're looking forward to it, and basically it was a huge fucking fart.
Yeah, just a big middle finger.
I mean, they didn't announce fucking shit. I mean, aside from the cast of the Thunderbolts movie, which on one hand I was pleased because we're getting Red Guardian. I'm wicked happy to have David Harbour's character back. I
Yeah.
loved him in Black
Yeah, he was
Widow. I
very-
love
very
David Harbour.
entertaining. Yep.
Very entertaining. Super funny. I'm looking forward to having him back. Aside from that, the rest of the cast is kind of what I was expecting, but no Abomination, which I thought was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
No Baron Zemo, which I thought was even crazier. But people are saying they think he's still going to be in the movie.
I hope so. You
Almost
gotta
as
have,
like
gotta have Baron.
almost
Zemo.
as like the bad guy that the Thunderbolts are trying to stop, maybe, or something
Yeah.
like that.
whatever capacity he's in, sign me up for
Yeah.
Baron Zemo.
In the comics, supposedly he's like a massive part. He like leads the team a couple times and shit like that, and then he was just not in it. And they brought
Yeah.
fucking Ghost and Taskmaster back, which I'm at least intrigued to see if they can fix Taskmaster's character, because I didn't like her in Black Widow, but I do think it's salvageable. Ghost in the second Ant-Man movie I thought was just trash. Like I was like, that's something.
Just that useless.
Crumble it up and throw it in the garbage.
Yeah, right. Kind of like how
Terrible.
I don't know, like how like Whiplash was in Iron Man 2. Just like just a forgettable
Just
like
get it out of
enemy
here.
and yeah.
As soon as that
I
was like
surprised he's back too.
happy to see Bucky. You know what I mean? Bucky
Yeah.
being a part of it, very cool. It looks like Yelena's going to be the captain, basically,
Yeah.
the one in charge, which I love that. You know what I mean? So I'm happy to see the three of them. Even like I said, Taskmaster, cool, but then fucking Ghost. I don't know.
Yeah, and I wondered too about the Fantastic Four. Like there were a lot of things I was reading that a lot of people thought it was like a borderline given that they were going to release the cast.
Yeah.
So I wonder if
How long have
they.
they been teasing this movie for?
I wonder if they called an audible at all, and then they like we're going to draw it out a little bit longer, or if that was never the plan to begin with.
The thing is, though, is now
to
you're looking
release
like
it.
almost another year, basically, until you have another big. Unless you're just going to do like a cold thing, which to me doesn't seem like what Marvel does. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
like these big showcases. You know what I'm saying? They
Right.
put on a show, especially when it's something that, like I said, they've been not rumoring it, but it's been out in the open now for years.
the longer you wait too, it's gonna catch. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're gonna find out some way, and I would rather find out through the Marvel
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
you know,
Especially a
festival
big
or whatever.
showcase. You bring the cast out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's awesome. Everyone gets super excited. But yeah, aside from the Thunderbolts cast, they didn't announce anything. No real release dates. No first peeks. You know what I
Right.
mean? No first glimpses. I was thinking maybe Secret Wars, the Samuel L. Jackson show or something. Nothing.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say that came out of Disney, that the expo that was awesome, was we got from Lucasfilms, we got the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer, which
Yeah,
looked
right back in. Yeah,
awesome.
exactly. Right back in.
This looked like the biggest season yet to me. It looks like they got a little bit more money, maybe. Like, hey, this show is doing awesome. It's taking off. Everybody loves it. Like, here's a little bit more coin. You know what I mean? Go bigger, go better.
Yeah. It looks like it's going to be bigger than last season when they had Luke fucking Skywalker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they had,
For real.
like, the biggest character in Star Wars history in the last one, and this one still seems like it's going to take off even more. So.
Seems like we're going to have some big battle scenes probably for the first, real, Mando, a bunch of Mandos all at one time.
Yep.
That's going to be sick.
All in on that.
I would definitely go check out that trailer if you guys have not. It was awesome. Very excited. That's going to be early 2023, I believe, right?
Yeah, February, I want to say, maybe. February,
All right.
March.
That'll come and go before you know, especially with
Exactly.
football back. We'll be there before you know it.
Yep.
We get some other cool projects before then, too. But I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up for our news, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, like I said at the top, we're going to be breaking down all three. We're going to be doing She-Hulk, into Rings of Power, into the big boy, House of the Dragon. We're going to start off with She-Hulk. So if you haven't checked out the newest episode, I probably suggest coming back because we're going to be talking a lot of stuff, some spoilers included for sure. But off the top, I mean, I thought this episode was, again, very funny. Didn't do much in regards of pushing any storylines or anything like that. Almost none of that. Seemed almost kind of like a filler episode.
Yeah.
But like I said, I still found it to be very funny. And they, like I keep saying, they said the show was going to be a sitcom. And to me, that is exactly what a sitcom is supposed to do. It's supposed to just fill 25, 30 minutes of your time with some just fun laughs.
Yeah, I mean, they had, it did have some decent moments, but this is how I feel just watching TV shows. And at first, when we thought it was 6 episodes, I didn't think there was going to be something like this. But now that there's 9, I was like, all right, so you got to have a filler or 2 in there. That's what this one was, and I'm still on the side of I'd rather have 6 episodes that are just filled with content versus just throwing that one in there. But it did kind of still add some laughs, but it was, I don't know, it wasn't my favorite one, to be honest, though, so I don't know how you felt, but it was just kind of had a few laughs, and that was really it. Nothing really set the tone for going down the line.
I feel like the episode was pretty subpar with the rest of the season. I don't know. I haven't really been overly amazed with the show, but I've enjoyed it. It's pretty funny and I don't know, it's something to watch right now. I like the Marvel, but I don't like a lot of the new Marvel stuff, but I do like this show in particular, so I'll take it.
I would agree with what you guys both just said. I mean, like I said, I still enjoyed the episode, but I think as far as if you consider the previous 3, it might have been my least favorite, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd have to really think about it.
That probably factored in too, just because the first 3 I thought were very solid, exceeded my expectations, and this one was you can kind of tell in the first 5-10 minutes it was all right, that's what this one is, except for my favorite character in the whole episode, which I was laughing as soon as I saw it, but I don't know, it was just kind of forgettable one, to be honest with you, but still had some
aside
decent
from
content.
a couple of cameos, I would say it's definitely going to be a pretty forgettable episode. But episode 4, Is This Not Real Magic? Which right away, pretty funny title, and right in the description from Disney, we found out that Wong is going to be back. So as soon as I saw that, right away as I fired up the episode, I was already excited. I was like, sweet, more Wong. Give me, we've already said it a bunch of times, give me as much Wong as you want. I will take Wong in anything. I love him. So show opened up with one of the cameos, Billy Walsh from Entourage, Donnie Blaze, which I thought was hysterical. If you're a Fantastic Four guy, Johnny Blaze.
Yeah. That's right. I didn't even think of that one. That's nice.
We open up with Billy Walsh doing some terrible, terrible, terrible magic in front of an audience of about 5 people before he basically pulls out a sling ring. Not sure where he got that from at first, but then he says, "I need help from the audience," and then we get the 2 cameos I think helped save the episode: Billy Walsh, and then introduced to Madison with 2 N's, 1 Y, and it's not where you think it is. I would. As soon as I started seeing this girl, I was like, "Give me a spinoff. I need a Madison spinoff."
Yeah, Madison and Wong. Yeah, teaming up.
But like I said, he asked for an audience helper basically to do his little magic act. He calls up Madison, who comes up, and he pulls out a sling ring, opens up a portal, and basically kicks her into a portal to open up the episode, which I thought was pretty wild. Yep. She ends up at Wong's house. Wong is chilling on his couch watching The Sopranos.
Woke up this morning, grabbed yourself a gun.
As soon as you heard that theme song, it was like you knew it had to be Sopranos.
Yeah.
Like there's no way it could have been anything else, right? And sure enough, they just turn to the screen and Sopranos is on the screen. Madison falls in, and apparently this isn't the first time because Wong was like, "Did the sketchy magician send you here?"
Yep.
So apparently this is something that's been happening to Wong a lot lately.
Yep.
But Madison, 2 N's, 1 Y, with absolutely no regard for Wong, spoils a big death in the Sopranos for Wong.
Yeah, at least one of them.
One of the biggest deaths in the show, just spoils it for him. And I thought that was an hysterical intro. I love seeing just Wong just basically laying on the couch with a pillow, just like I do half the time, watching his favorite shows.
Just trying to relax, not have any spoilers.
Yeah.
And here comes this drunk girl coming through a portal.
The perfect drunk
Ruin it
white
for
girl.
him.
I've literally done exactly what Wong is doing in that scene 1,000 times. Just laying there on the couch, holding my throw pillow, diving into a TV show all day long, just binging through. Especially The Sopranos. I've done that like countless times. But that was an awesome intro, like I said. So from there, we go to Jen, and we are at her house. She is setting up this dating app that she just starts with, her own Jen Walter. It's not the She-Hulk. And her dad pops up, basically trying to enforce some security because of the end of episode 3 there. She had a little skedaddle outside. Some guys showed up, which was pretty funny. The dad's just trying to do some very normal, like, Homeland Security stuff as if it's a normal, you know what I mean? His daughter's not the She-Hulk.
Like she can't handle it.
Yeah, which is exactly what she says. She's like, did you call the cops? Why would I call the cops? I'm a Hulk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that was pretty funny. From there, we go to her office, which as soon as she gets to her office, who pops up? But Wong. Wong says, hey, I need your help, from a lawyer standpoint. I got this fake magician who's, opening up portals using a sling ring. He has no idea how to use these powers. He was at Comatage for, I think he said like 2 weeks or something like that, before he summoned 3 kegs and his frat buddy, K-Dog.
It's like so ridiculous. Dude.
It is so
It's funny.
ridiculous.
It's funny too because in the last episode, she's waiting for him to show up during the trial, and like he's taking forever to show up. And the minute that a drunk woman goes through a portal and lands on his couch, he's showing up. He's like, "Yeah, I need you right now. Like we got a problem
so
right
true.
now." She's facing this huge case and he can't show up. But
She
the minute
spoiled
that
Sopranos.
happens, yeah, like we need to get to the bottom of this right now.
But that was pretty funny. So then we go to the bar. She's with her paralegal friend, whose name I really should learn. I guess I was calling her the paralegal friend. But basically, she ends up taking her. She suggests that she should set up the dating profile for the Hulk instead of for Jen, because Jen's not really getting any love so far, except for this creepy guy that's at the bar trying to buy them drinks, who was just so typical, like, old creepy guy.
Yeah.
You sexy ladies need a drink?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be at the bar if you change your mind.
I won't, but thank you.
I won't. Thank you for the heads up, though. I appreciate
won't,
that. But like I said, I thought all that shit was pretty funny. We go to our first little sit down, basically, where it's Donnie Blaze, his manager, and then Jen and Wong. They basically are trying to say that you can't just use magic recklessly. They say, what do you mean? It's magic. You know what I mean? What do you mean it's not real magic? They start doing all that dumb little tricks and shit like that. But I thought that was pretty funny. I think just from there, we went to a terrible dating montage. Jen's on a terrible, terrible date with some schmuck. She was trying to tell him that she was the Hulk. He couldn't pay her any mind.
Was that the scene too that they're both like drawn like
he's going
to their wall.
Yeah.
They're like playing the game of chicken as to like if they can get it out or not.
Yeah, and then you see she checks the tip, which I loved that. That was mad funny. She checked to see how much of a tip he left.
Yeah.
She's just like, just disgusted by it. So he only left like $2, or if anything at all, probably nothing.
Scum.
But we go to the courtroom. So now we officially have in the courtroom Wong and Jen versus Danny Blaze. The judge asked for witnesses, and of course, we have the witness. Wong's dreading bringing her back, but Jen is like, nope, we got to do it. We need a witness. Sure enough, Wong pulls out the sling ring, and who else comes out but Madison,
the star of
2
the episode.
N's, 1 Y, and not where you think it is.
On a mean buzz.
Just, comes out of a party. Looks like she's just been living it up. Still drunk, still in the same dress it looked like. I was cracking up. She brings in a drink. She hands the drink to the security guard before she takes the stand.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And then she also, for the first time in the episode, which instantly I made this my team name in fantasy this week, when she gets through the portal, she sees Wong and she goes, Wongers, which is now officially his new nickname. Wongers was hysterical. I loved that. Such a typical white girl thing to do, just like, Wongers. But I thought that was absolutely hysterical. Changed my team name to friggin' Gin and Wongers right away as soon as this episode.
His favorite drink is gin.
Yeah, it's so funny. So many little just tidbits in this episode. Just so many quick little things that were just thrown in there for no reason but to make you laugh.
Yep.
Which, exactly like I said, funny stuff.
Yep.
But basically, Jen says that you can't put like the judge says, you can't put a hold on magic, but Jen's like, yeah, you can't put a hold on, street magicians basically doing card tricks, making girls disappear, pulling a fake dove out of your hat. But this is obviously, we're in Marvel here. This is real fucking magic. This is interdimensional portals. We're open.
Right.
We can,
this is some serious shit.
Massive fucking destruction here. We can end multiverses. You know what I mean? So the judge says, all right, we're gonna look into it. We're going to make a decision in a couple weeks. In the meantime, Donnie can still practice magic. And the scene ends with Madison asking Wong if he wants to grab some froyo. Wong's like, no. And then she's like, we can talk Sopranos. And then instantly he's like, all right, fine. But no spoilers.
Yeah.
And then she ruins another huge death.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's when she does it. Yeah.
Ruins two of the biggest deaths in the entire series to the same guy in one episode. It's tough. It's a tough hit.
We won't do that. We won't do the same thing if you haven't watched The Sopranos. But
yeah, no, I won't mention the deaths. Exactly. That's a good point. But yeah, no, I don't want to ruin that for anybody if you haven't seen Sopranos. But if you haven't seen Sopranos, what the fuck are you doing here?
The other one, yeah. Look right into the camera. Please watch The Sopranos.
Go watch The Sopranos. We go home from the courthouse, and Jen, again, still dateless. Dates, none. Zero. So she decides to listen to her friend, and she makes the She-Hulk profile, and sure enough, thing starts blowing up like it's fucking New Year's Eve. Thousands of dates flowing. She goes on another little, like a bad date montage through a couple of different guys, which is, pretty funny, nothing crazy, but she ends up finding this one dude who's obscenely buff and handsome and happens to be a doctor, and she's just like, all right, no need for any more conversation. Let's go back to my place right now. We don't even need appetizers, food, fuck food. Let's go home. So sure enough, they get back to the house. They start fooling around a little bit, and who pops up but Wong? Wong pops up saying, yo, I need some help because Danny Blaze, at another magic act, tried to show off his sling ring. He tried to do something new this time rather than just sling the girl through a portal again. He accidentally gave birth to a little fucking rat-looking squirrel.
It reminded me
monster
of the things from Harry Potter in terms of the I can't think
pixies?
of the pixies. Yeah.
Yeah, but a little bit meaner looking pixies.
They just start getting all over the place. But once again, the minute the Wong needs something, he just shows up right at the worst time. Right, but big court case and he can't show up on time. But
yeah. But those things, honestly, I'm not going to lie. I did not like those things. Those things kind of creeps me out. I don't like little rodents. These weren't furry, but they were slimy, but they had wings, which really terrified me. You know what I mean? Flying rats, basically.
Yep.
I was not a fan. But Danny Blaze accidentally set a whole set of these things, a whole banshee on his audience. And sure enough, he shows up at Wong's house to ask Wong for help. So then Wong, who does he go ask for help? He asks for Jen. She's there with her date. Has to pull her out of it. They go and whip some ass real quick, which is a cool little fight scene. Fun little fight scene.
Yep.
Those things ended up growing in scale, which was kind of creepy too.
Yeah.
They ended up turning into fucking dogs, basically. They looked like demodogs from almost friggin' like Stranger Things.
Yep.
But cool little episode. And then she goes back. She goes back home after the fight, after kicking some ass, sending everything back through the portal. And finishes off her date, carries the guy to bed, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, that is actually pretty funny.
They showed that in the trailer, and I was like, all right, I don't know how I feel. Like, all right, whatever. That was kind of corny. But then, it played more once I saw the whole backstory, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Made more sense. Thought it was funny. Carries him to bed. And then the final scene of the show, we wake up the next morning. She's made the guy breakfast, but she's Jen now again. She's not She-Hulk now.
Not going to cut it.
And I guess that's just not going to cut it for our Hawk Doctor because he bounces before he even eats a bite of food, just takes off. How effed up is that, man?
That
she
is
just
pretty,
friggin' showed you a good time first night, makes you breakfast. That's unbelievable.
That's all I'm asking for, really.
Yeah, right? I mean, come on. Jen, you know what? Hit me up. You know what I mean?
If you're out there, you want to make me breakfast in the morning, let me know.
Low C, produce a low C.
Pancakes after,
Any one of the boys. Sit at the Cinema Lords. We're all here, Jen.
Yep.
But then we find out right at the end of the episode that she's actually being sued. She's being sued by Titania, who is the, if you want to call her villain, that she kicked her ass at the end of episode 1.
Yep.
She is suing her for trade. She trademarked the name She-Hulk before She-Hulk could trademark her own name. Ingenious.
Right.
Ingenious. How realistic is that? I feel like that shit happens all the time nowadays. You know what I mean? People just trying to steal glory.
I just hope that that's not the reason why they go after each other. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like I need a little. Yeah, like they battle each other just because of some copyright. Like I need a little bit more than that. If it's just like a one-off, you know what I mean? If it's like a one-off thing,
episode 5 kind of thing that we do
to bring her back into the picture, then that's fine with me. But like I said, I hope it's a little bit more than just you stole my name. I'm She-Hulk. No, I'm She-Hulk. I don't know.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more of her. I thought her costume alone was very intriguing to me, so I'd like to see a little bit more of her.
Yeah, she looked like fucking
Ric Flair wannabe.
Exactly.
But Jen broke the fourth screen right here, too, which I thought was pretty funny to end the episode. She kind of says, like, what a disappointing way to end the episode.
Yeah, and then it goes right into the credits.
Good. And almost like hinting, like, don't worry, there's going to be something a little good for you. And sure enough, what do we get? We get more of the star of the show, Madison and Wong, sitting on Wong's couch, eating some popcorn, watching some TV. And Madison's just asking her basically every single cocktail ever made, if you've had it, trying to test it out. Yeah. He mentions vodka and yak milk, which sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
She asks
There's the one he's like, never again.
Yeah, and then she goes right away. Oh, do you have any more?
Yeah.
I love her. She's absolutely insane. But give me a spin-off of Madison and Wongers. I could just... I'll give them a podcast.
Yeah.
I'll do what I'll do.
Something like that.
What I mean? I'll go listen to them every week. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But like we said, altogether, nothing really for story really driven. You know what I mean? Just a fun episode. I still enjoyed it. Madison and Billy Walsh stole the show for me.
I'll give him a pass if it's just like a one-off thing. I just don't want a couple episodes in a row where it's just filler. You know what I mean? But if it's like a one-off, I'm good with it. Yeah. I'll give it to him. That's fine. But the other side of me, I'm like, all right, this episode could be like, I'd rather be into the the whole thing with Abomination and all that as well.
Abomination, Daredevil.
We had a one-off. That's fine. I'll give you the pass. But let's next episode, I want to see you get right back into it where the things that matter. No offense to Madison, but
it's probably going to be some of the last what we see of Wong this season. I feel like too.
Yeah, he already had 2 appearances. That sounds like he probably would wrap it up for him. Abomination had 2 as well.
Because I can't imagine they're squeezing all those. You know what I mean? Like I can't imagine Wong, Abomination, Daredevil, or they're like all in the same. They're in the picture at the same time. You know what I mean? Like so. Yeah, if it's like. This might be it where, Wong goes off, and if he doesn't, that makes me think that somebody else, whether it's Daredevil or whoever it might be, will be kind of coming in to, replace them.
Yeah. Kingpin, too. I think Kingpin's in this, too, so I would imagine him and Daredevil might have...
Yeah, I hope he put on some weight from the last time that we saw Kingpin, and I didn't think I'd have to say that for
just look Kingpin, like the Kingpin, you know what I mean? It's literally unbelievable. It's just, I don't get it. I really don't get it. He's supposed to be this massive guy, and he just looks like a fat dude.
Yeah.
And he whispers. I don't get it. It's terrible. But that pretty much wraps it up for She-Hulk this week. Like I said, fun episode, but nothing over the top that great. Nothing too memorable. Madison, Billy Walsh, Donnie Blaze. Those are the 2 biggest takeaways for me by far. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But keep checking it out. I'm gonna keep checking it out. That's for sure. I think the show's already been above our expectations. I would say no.
Yeah, and it goes back to like I said. Even if the episode's not that good, it's 25 minutes. So
yep.
It's not like you're watching it for an hour. You're 50 minutes in, and you're like, "What the fuck?" Like nothing's happened this whole episode. Like, I've wasted 25 minutes of my life doing worse things than watching a mediocre episode of She-Hulk.
Definitely, definitely. It didn't put me to sleep like any of the episodes of Moon Knight have yet, because Moon Knight put me to sleep 2 times, man.
A couple of times.
God. Without a doubt, like I've said, definitely the best show. Even only 4 episodes in, I don't even care how it ends. This has been the most enjoyable Marvel show this year by far, at least for me. I don't even care how it ends, like I said. So let's do Rings of Power.
Yeah, let's get into it. Absolutely ripped through all 3 episodes yesterday. And goddamn, these names, man, between this and Game of Thrones, they don't make it easy for first-time podcasters like us. I'll be honest with you.
Sure
between this and Game of Thrones,
I don't know anybody's names. I
wrote them down just to be on the safe side. But
that's a good move.
Whew, man, it is.
I'm honestly having a way tougher time with this Rings of Power show. I don't know if it's because it's been 2 weeks, 3 episodes in total, or you know what I mean. But for some reason, man, I don't know. I'm having a tough time.
Yeah, and do not do what I did, and that was like I said. I got to it. I haven't been able to watch it until yesterday, and I had to battle to watch all 3 in a row. You know what I mean?
Especially, I would say, after that first one. I felt like we didn't even watch. The 2 episodes came out on Friday. We didn't even watch them back to back. After that first episode ended, I was like, I can't do another episode right now.
I got through 2 yesterday, and I was like, yeah, I literally can't, for the sake of my enjoyment of the show and everything, I can't watch this third episode right now.
Yeah,
like,
it's true, because you're definitely not going to enjoy the show as much as when you're fresh and stuff like that. You're forcing yourself through it. It's just not going to be as good.
Right.
So, this episode, though, episode 3, I thought was hands down, by far and away, the best episode of the 3 so far.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. And then before we get into it, just because I haven't hopped on, I know you guys talked about it last week. I've thought so far, Los, I don't know how you feel about the the CGI and all that, but I thought it's been excellent so far.
I have no complaints when it comes to the CGI. I shit on it after that trailer they put out for the Super Bowl, but yeah, the actual show has been fine. It's been good.
I kept an extra eye out just to see, and there were a couple, the first 2 episodes and this one, I don't know, I think it's been really well so far in terms of hasn't been an issue. That was one of the things that I was with you. I was worried about going into it, but so far I feel so good. So far so good overall in the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, no, the show
no complaints.
Very, very, very clean.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell that Amazon spent a shit ton of money to make the show look absolutely beautiful.
Yep.
A couple of new places we went to this week that we had never seen before that looked, I thought, very, very nice.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
But yeah, like I said, my favorite episode by far of the 3 so far. I thought that things finally started to really pick up story wise.
Yeah.
As far as where we're going with the show, and just the overall what we're going to be doing here. Really. Because the first 2 were very informational.
Yeah. The only one it was missing, and it because I think it's been my favorite storyline so far, it was between Elrond and the dwarves.
Yep.
There was none of it so far.
Yep.
But that was probably my favorite storyline that I saw in the first 2 episodes. It reminded me a lot of Legolas and Gimli. You can tell there's a lot of it's kind of that same banter back and forth that they had in the beginning of Lord of the Rings, and I feel I don't know, it's funny when they were talking about you never even showed up at my wedding and things like that. I don't know, it's still that same banter between dwarves and elves, so I don't know, I guess that's just a common thing in Middle Earth, but
I think when you get the right elves, because a lot of the elves don't even want to deal with the dwarves, you know what I mean, with the ones that
so there's that tension there already, and once they're able to actually talk about. So I don't know. I thought that's been my favorite storyline so far, just for the entertainment side of it.
Yeah.
I feel the other ones have had a lot more meaning to the story, but
definitely, I love the dwarves. Anyways, I'm with you.
Yeah, they crack me up.
I want more dwarves, and I think we're gonna get plenty of them. So.
Yeah.
Probably episode, especially like you just said, actually, with them not being in the entire episode, I would say
should be a bounce back episode 4.
Episode 4.
Yeah.
But spoilers ahead for Rings of Power.
Stuff. Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing was just really funny. They have a stone off where they're just
that was great.
Bashing the stone.
I said that last week. That was my favorite. It's just so funny the way it's so simple.
Yeah.
Let's see who can smash the most stones.
Yep.
Well, I love the dwarves. They're hysterical. But yeah, spoilers ahead for episode 3 of Rings of Power. We're going to be diving into this, so if you haven't watched it, come back later. We open up with a cool little scene. We find out what happened to Aradin at the end of episode 2. He was taken by orcs. He was brought to this orc camp. He is still alive, but he's pretty beaten up and shit. And the orc that is kind of beating into him at that moment in time when we open up the episode mentions the name Adar for the first time. For Adar, he says 3 times. Now, Adar is a name that I would imagine, like a lot of us, I had never heard before in Lord of the Rings. New name.
Yeah, I had to jump back just to make sure I didn't miss anything in the original Lord of the Rings, but no, nothing there. And overall, the orcs look badass, too.
Orcs, that's one of the biggest takeaways from this episode.
The orcs look badass.
So much better than they look in the Lord of the Rings.
Not to say that they look bad,
no,
but I think they just look more
scarier,
badass. Yeah, the armor, scarier, except for, the one in the Fellowship of the Rings, the big, tall, scary motherfucker. Yeah, that guy's scary as fuck.
I might be an orc for Halloween.
There you go. That's a sick car.
I'll kill you.
I'll kill you.
For a dar. For a dar. Just walk around for a dar.
But yeah, so that's our first reference to the name Adar. We're going to get, I think, 3 in total for this episode. So it's a name that's going to start coming up. So like Seth said, he checked it out, but this is the first mention we get of it. But we just know Aradin, he's at least alive, but he's in a little bit of a tough pickle to start the episode. So, like I said last week, I think he's going to be one of my guys. I like him. I got a good vibe from him right away.
Yep.
I think this is going to be my dog. And I think I saw more of things from him this week that we're going to get into that kind of confirmed that. And I liked a lot.
Yeah, he's a badass.
But we started, like I said, with him. He's confirmed alive. But then we go right to the seas. Galadriel and Halbrand, they were saved. They were, at sea, like I said. Last week, they escaped a sea worm. They escaped a terrible storm. But they were just floating basically on a Titanic-like friggin' door, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Until they were picked up and saved by this crew. They're not giving too many answers. They're saying, you're coming back home with us, but that's really all they're saying. They're not telling them where they're going. Until the very end when they mention that they're going to Numenor. Again, another place that I have never heard of before.
Yep. It's like Star Wars in terms of like, you think you have all the different planets and all that stuff, and they just keep bringing out new planets and new places. Like, it's the exact same thing.
Yep. So we see Numenor for the first time, and like we kind of were just saying, looked awesome. Looked just wicked beautiful.
Yep.
It reminded me of like Bravos in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
With like, like where they finish the Fellowship of the Ring, where like they fight like in the woods and stuff. When they enter, there's like the two huge statues and stuff.
Yeah.
It was they had a few of those, so
right.
I felt like it mixed those two things. It was kind of like a sea village, city kind of thing.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff on the water.
Very cool looking.
Yeah.
What was Numenor called in Lord of the Rings?
So I don't think Numenor is at all in any way in Lord of the Rings, because it's like an island. It's way off into the ocean. And I don't think we do any of that, because we're going to find out most of the episode that she's trying to get back to Middle Earth, which is where, the bulk of our map is.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
Yeah, so they were picked up at the sea, and rather than going straight back to like Middle Earth, which is, say like the massive country basically, Numenor is like an island. That's why. So we're gonna we find out that Numenor, everyone as soon as she gets off the ship, they're all the people that are on the water basically.
Yeah.
I can't think of the word for it. My Jesus. Oh man, it's bothering me. But on the decks, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Whatever. They're all looking at her funny, giving her dirty looks. You find out that, elves not liked here.
Yep.
This island was actually once very, like hospitable for elves. It was shared by them. They won it together in the battle against Morgoth. They were sharing it. They would do trade. They would share technology. They would share medicine. And then it turned out one day they just kind of started turning their ships away, the elven ships. And now elves have not been on this island of Numenor now for years and years and years, it seems like. So for Galadriel to be here, everyone's giving her the stink eye, kind of like, what the hell is she doing?
Yeah.
What the hell's an elf doing here?
Elves have pissed off a lot of people throughout the years. I mean, like I said, like they don't like the dwarves don't like them. Like you got the same reaction here, so... Yeah.
Docs. The word is docs. I was trying to think of the word docs. I got there. It was just evading my mind. All these names are just like surging in the phone
it's
right now,
it's
you know
so
what I mean?
much. Yeah, sensory
This is
overload.
brutal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we find out, elves not really wanted there, but we are going to be escorted to the queen of this island, and Halbrand on their walk there. It's kind of, talking to Galadriel and like, hey, all those things you just shared with me about the island and stuff, why don't we kind of keep that in the back pocket? Because these people probably aren't going to want to hear all that
Yeah,
stuff.
let's not piss anybody else off than what we need to do.
Yeah, let's just be chill. And, let's just try to take this easy because we don't know who we're dealing with and what kind of situation we're going to be in. Galadriel kind of doesn't really respond, and we're going to find out in about a half a second that she doesn't do any of that. As soon as we get to the queen, she's in front of the queen and her entire council, whatever you want to call it, her little court. And she gets up there, and basically she just, starts saying, "Oh, we gave you this island. I need a ship back." Kind of demanding things, being kind of arrogant.
Yeah. It's like, who the fuck do you think you are?
For real.
Hold up.
Everyone in the room's kind of like, "Yo, what are we doing here? Let's hang this elf." Halbrand, though, comes in with some very good negotiation skills, smooth things over real nicely. He's able to settle everything down, settle the queen down, settle Galadriel down. Basically gets them to be able to be treated like very, very hospitable visitors, guests.
Let's talk. Yeah, let's talk for a second.
For a few days, while basically the queen and her council decide if they will be given a ship to allow passage back to Middle Earth.
Yep.
So things could be a lot worse. You know what I mean? Halbrand seems like he's got some tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah, you do. I'm very interested in him. Like I said, the whole connection. It's just like I said. It's so much to start with, but. Yeah, I do like that character. He kind of seems
we know
like
nothing about so far, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Found
So
a weird situation.
Yeah, so very, he's got to have a backstory or something.
Gotta
you know
have
what
a
I mean?
backstory.
So interested to see what that is. I hope they kind of dig into him a little bit more.
Yeah. The only thing actually that they did mention, Galadriel mentioned it. I'm not sure how she knew it yet, but she does mention that his family supported Morgoth in the war. That they backed Morgoth, which is an interesting thing to say. Which makes sense. That's probably why he was on the run. You know what I mean? Probably had to flee the Southlands after the loss. Anybody that was there probably didn't want him there. You know what I mean?
True.
Anybody
Yeah.
off the other side.
Yeah.
Kind of like, what the hell is this guy here?
Kind of like Aragon, maybe some connections
Something
to
like
how
that.
Aragon was.
Something
you know
like
what I mean?
that. Something like
Not
that.
everybody's favorite, but at the end of the day, he's got your back nonetheless.
So then we find out that our boat captain is none other than Isildur's father. That's how the scene basically ends. He doesn't come right out and say it's Isildur, but we find out that his name is Elendil, which if you know backstory mythology, you would know that it's his father, but that he has a son that's almost of age to fight, basically, is what they say. And then we transition to we're at sea, we're on a boat, high waters, crazy sailing, cool little scene, looked cool.
Yeah, it did.
And like I said, we find out that his son, if you didn't know, is none other than Isildur, who you should know.
Asshole from the original.
Yes, who you should know from Lord of the Rings. That's where the movie opens up. Isildur is the man who cuts off the hand of Saruman in the ring, and then takes the ring up to the fires of Mount Doom, but cannot cast it into the flames and basically save a whole bunch of lives over the next thousands of years.
And you can see, too, already, like, they didn't really dig into his character that much, except when they said his name, it was kind of like the oh shit moment.
Yeah.
But he's, you can tell he's already got some kind of conflicting thoughts in his mind. I thought at one point he heard, like, like voices in his head.
Yep, we opened up.
He hears, like, voices in his head. So, I mean, he's young and he hasn't even gotten to that point yet, and he's already, having some kind of conflicting thoughts in his head. So
yeah, while he's at sea, he looks over to the mainland that they're heading towards, and he hears a voice calling his name, basically, and it sounds just like, say, the voices that we hear in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
they're calling
to whoever
him,
is
they call it Frodo.
Right. Yeah,
you know what I mean. It was the same tone and all that stuff. So I thought that was very interesting as well. I don't know exactly what that's supposed to be. You know what I mean?
He's another one too. I feel like he's not going to be a consistent part of the show. I think it was just kind of like that oh shit moment. But
yeah, I have a feeling his dad
I'd like to
might
see
be
a little bit more. Yeah, like so I'd like to see a little bit more of him, or if not his dad, like some kind of connection. Like how did he get to that point where,
you never know. He could end up being a bigger character. I mean,
I wouldn't mind it.
He's heir to Gondor, so we're gonna have to do all that stuff.
Yep.
So,
and you see the horn too. I think the horn was in there as well, right? At one scene too.
Oh, I'm not sure. I might have missed that.
Yeah, I think the horn was in there.
No kidding.
I could be wrong. Like on the ship too.
We do get another call to Gondor in a little bit, which is interesting. From there we go. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I lied right to your face. It's literally right now. It's up next. So we go from here. We go to the Queen's Chamber again. And the very first thing we see is a white tree, just like the white tree of Gondor, which I looked up to see if it was the same one somehow. And sure enough, it's not. It's just a pine from the same sapling. So there's
Multiple
a few of
white
these
trees.
things. Yeah, a couple of these things. So I think I was reading there is going to be another one. I think they got a sapling from this tree here in Numenor, and they bring it to where they're going to establish Gondor, and they plant one that eventually ends up getting torn down, I think it said, during the Second Age, which is where we are now. But again, I guess must be another sapling, and that's going to be the one that's in Minas Tirith that we see in Return of the King and shit.
Okay.
But the king calls in Isildur's dad, Eladin, and she basically says that we looked into you a little bit because you brought an elf to our shores, and that was kind of a sketchy move. We found out that your name means elf friend. You a friend of the friggin' elves? Because we don't accept that shit here. We don't play that. And she's kind of questioning his loyalty, basically. And he's like, dude, I'm with you guys. I just... I tried to do what was right. I saw this girl and this dude in the middle of the ocean. What was I supposed to do? Leave him there? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, you got funny ears. See ya. Bye.
Yeah, no kidding. Am I supposed to just save the guy and leave the girl in the water? What did you want me to do?
Reverse Titanic. We get revenge on the Titanic right there. Leave the girl on the boat this time. We'll save Leonardo DiCaprio.
Titanic references coming out the yang in this episode. I love it. But she basically we don't say what the task is, but she gives him a task and gives him a sword. So we're kind of like left to think for ourselves what it could be. I got the impression that it was kind of like go kill the elf. That's what I thought.
Pretty much, yeah.
That what you thought too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same exact.
Either that or go like
take care of this, will you?
Yeah, go kill her, go capture her, put her in prison. I don't know, do something not good though. You know what I mean? So we leave there and we go back to the orc camp. We go back to Arondir. And this is where we get a much better picture of the orcs like we talked about. In that first scene, we only got one little orc. This one, we get a whole fucking crew of orcs.
Yeah, now you know they all look badass.
Yeah, they
all look wicked
cool.
Yeah.
They get a couple of them have some really fucking crazy masks on.
Yeah,
almost like the Moon Knight mask that Khonshu is. I haven't even seen that show.
Was that the I think I don't know if it was the first or second episode. Was that the same mask that somebody went into like the halfling's house and they were like hiding from? I don't know if it was the same mask or not, but I thought I saw that mask like in one of the earlier episodes.
Maybe one from like a dead orc that they found, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
they took it for themselves. They kind of use as a prop.
Like scare the shit out of people.
Yeah. I could see that kid doing some tricks and stuff like that. He finds a little orc helmet.
Yep.
I could definitely see that. We find out that actually Ledoux mentioned it last week to us. which he had a bunch of great information. I couldn't have been happy with what the dude did for us last week. He gave us so much stuff. I had no idea he knew so much about Lord of the Rings. But he told us that the orcs can't really be in sunlight, which sure enough we find out they cannot be like in direct sunlight.
Yeah.
They have some real problems there. Not like vampire-esque, like just burn up right away.
No,
but like,
yeah.
can clearly in some pain, you know what I mean? It's not like they can be out there.
Yeah.
They constantly have these little tent setup kind of things. They have these like drapes, like, you know, like you'd be if you were wearing like in the Middle East, if you were trying to protect yourself from harsh sun and stuff like that.
And you think about it too, it's the original like trilogy that was never really a point where they were in sunlight, or you know what I mean? Like
That's
you didn't
true.
really see them like struggle through sunlight.
That's true. I think Helm's Deep, actually. Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. That's actually a really good call.
Even
so,
you know,
Helm's Deep's all fought at night and stuff.
In the first
like
one,
that.
when they captured Merry and Pippin, like they're in the trees where there's
Plenty of
shade
exactly,
and things
just
like that.
This
So,
again, the tree covering stuff
right.
like that.
So yeah, you do never really see that. I feel like in the original trilogy. So
Yeah, not too much at least. Definitely not. No, maybe just like
nothing
once
I can
or twice,
think of.
but
Yeah.
that's a good call. But they definitely try to drive that point home more with this show. They definitely try to do the orcs a little bit more justice, it seems like, in this show. And altogether, they're like just grittier. They seem tougher
Yeah.
and meaner and shit like that. We're actually going to see that right now. But
And again, it's not to say that they looked bad in the original trilogy.
No, right,
I just
yeah,
think
no.
they looked a lot, they looked more, like you said, just
Fierce.
more badass. They put more effort into making them look intimidating.
definitely, yeah. And they all look a little bit more different too. I feel like in this, I feel like in Lord of the Rings they would just have like the one orc that looked different to symbolize this guy's the leader.
Yeah,
Whereas this,
and the
they
rest
all
are like
look
kind of
a
like
little bit more
arched and
unique.
like
Yeah, they're all similar
yeah,
looking.
yep.
But this, they all have like their own, they're all unique looking, which I like. They're all individually scary, basically. But Arondir has made some friends with a couple of other prisoners that are there, and one of them tells him that these orcs are worshiping a new name, Adar. Again, the second time we get it, and they are worshiping this name just like he was Margoth. They, the orcs are basically like in love and infatuated with this guy, and he mentions that Sauron went by many names, so. Could this maybe be Sauron just wielding
an
another
alias
name by the
yeah.
orcs? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Very, very interesting. They also mentioned that the word Adar is Elvish. So, interesting too. Like,
Yeah.
is Sauron an elf, maybe? I think that would be pretty fucking
Yeah,
cool. You
that would be a
know
nice
what
little
I
twist.
mean?
Yeah.
We find out that the tunnels that we saw in episode 2 and actually episode 1, both episodes, they are going all over the place. They built a huge, huge, huge tunnel system to get around, hide from the sunlight.
Avoid the sunlight, yeah.
And basically avoid detection, too. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't have to deal with patrols or anything like that. You can kind of just move freely and sneak attack everybody. They have a bunch of prisoners, and we need to... Oh, yeah, so basically, one of the guys says, at first chance, one of us has to basically try to find... a way out of here, but the only way out is to get above these tunnels, so we gotta try to find where the tree line is. So the first chance we can, we gotta take it. Turns out the first chance comes right away. There's this huge tree that needs to be cut down. The orcs demand that they cut it down. The guys basically say, nah, this tree is fucking, it's been here for so many years, it's a part of the earth, we're not gonna cut this tree down, we can just go around it. Basically trying to get a look at the tree line and a way of escape.
Yeah,
and see,
dig in,
you know what I mean?
go into the
Rather than
the
staying in
forest a
these
little bit
tunnels,
more.
let's get up on the ground and we can get a look around at everything.
Yeah.
Maybe make a run for it, do whatever. You know what I mean? Kind of a smart move. This leader orc comes out of nowhere, goes, "Good for you for standing up. Here, take some water." And then this was a different thing for me for Lord of the Rings. Orc just straight slits this
Yeah.
guy's throat while he's having a sip of water, basically.
They got into it a couple times in this episode, later on in the episode too. But I don't want to say that they didn't push the envelope per se, but for Lord of the Rings terms, they did
I
push
thought
the
so.
envelope a little bit.
It's not like Lord of the Rings lacks for violence, but you don't really see too much throat
The
slit.
orcs were vicious.
It was shot like
straight
very
gangsta.
cool.
Yeah.
It was shot very cool too. I thought the way that they did it. It wasn't just like the classic, you know what I mean? Split someone's throat and fucking blood's spewing all over the place. Like I don't know, I just thought it was shot very very nicely. Like how it was just like at first just the slit and that's it, and then
slow-mo.
Yeah, so they didn't go over the top, but again, like for Lord of the Rings terms, I feel like they were pushing the envelope for how from the Lord of the Rings that we all used to watch.
Not only do they look a little bit meaner, they actually are.
They
a
are
little bit
meaner, yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're a little bit fiercer.
Yep.
So that was
Not your
pretty,
father's orcs, these guys.
Yeah,
Not your
Daddy,
father's orcs.
it's not your daddy's orcs.
no kidding. But at that point, what are we gonna do? We can't all die for this tree. We want to get out of here, but we're gonna have to do it at a different time. Aradin says, "All right, I'll cut down the tree." And that basically ends the end of that scene. But he does get a look. At least when he goes to cut down the tree, he does get a little bit of a look outside and does see, a tree line, basically. So he's like, all right, this is the direction that we can run in. If we can get to the trees, we got some cover.
Problem is, it's just way out there.
It sure is.
It is.
It's like 100 yards away.
That's a hike.
So we got to start, we have an idea now, but we got to start planning the escape and exactly what we're going to do. But before that, we go back to Numenor. And speaking of escapes, Galadriel is trying to plan her own escape. She's trying to figure out how the fuck she's going to get off Numenor. She's at the dock. She's looking for a ship that she might be able to steal. And who else falls upon her but Elladan? He's probably watching her because the queen, gave her that task. We don't know what it is yet, but he's there, not far behind. They have a little back and forth. She's definitely more hostile than he is. Again, she's just like very feisty all the time.
Yeah.
She does not like talking, this woman.
She's ready for action.
She is just ready for action at all times.
She reminds me a lot too of
Aelin?
Yeah. I couldn't think. I was just gonna say Liv Tyler, but
definitely.
Just that same like fierceness level and
yes,
definitely.
yes, I love her. She was one of my favorite characters in Lord of the Rings. She's a badass. But basically, Elladan says, hey, not everybody here on Numenor actually hates the elves the way you think. Some of us are actually friends of the elves.
Yep.
He goes, let me take you to where I actually, where I live, not here in town, but, down the coast a little bit, half day's ride or whatever it is. And I can show you the Hall of Lore, which as soon as she hears that, she's like, y'all have a Hall of Lore here? Hell yeah, let's go. Take me to it. And we're riding horses. Let's do it.
Was I the only one that didn't know what a Hall of Lore was?
I mean, I could put it together, you know what I mean? Especially with the fact that she lit up. I was like, all right, it's got to be some elven kind of a temple sort of thing, you know what I mean? Place of worship of something. Ends up being kind of a library, but
Smart.
She was jacked up too to ride that
oh
horse.
yeah.
She was very excited to ride that horse. I remember even saying to myself, I was like, "Lady, you're just riding a horse. Like it's not anything that crazy." But yeah,
Well,
she was all pumped up to go see it. Yeah, she was wicked excited.
Been at seas. She swam for who knows how long. Now she's been not a prisoner, but prisoner guest. You know what I mean? She's just happy to be where
She wants to let her hair down for a little bit.
Sure
Just
did. That riding montage was pretty cool. That looked nice.
It was, yeah.
That looked real nice.
Yep.
But she heads off with Elladan towards the Hall of Lore. Meanwhile, Halbrand is eyeing a job at Numenor in the blacksmith, which to me kind of, I don't know, was interesting. I don't know. I know we're going to be forging rings at this point in the show, you know what I mean? So this guy's got this obsession with blacksmithing. I don't know if there's any connection there or something like that. But regardless, we find out.
Doesn't really seem like there's a war yet. You know what I mean? Like we're not forging weapons or anything. You know what I mean? It's not like he needs to do that. So yeah, it could very well be a connection to the rings.
Right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But he basically finds out can't get a job without a guild's crest. So he's like, "Fuck! All right, that sucks." Goes to the bar, starts having a drink, trying to drown a little bit of his sorrows, trying to figure out how he's going to get a crest. A couple of guys in town start giving him a hard time, start hassling him and shit. Starts being feisty a bit back.
Then he goes, you know what? I'll buy drinks for everybody.
Yeah. It looks like a fight's gonna break out, right? But then he sees that one of the guys is wearing the guild crest that he needs.
Yeah.
So and then begins the long con. He starts, all right, you know what? Let's play the friendly game. Let me buy everybody drinks.
Yep.
Gets around for the bars. He starts partying.
Beers, baby.
That's what better way to win the people over than to buy them booze? You know what I mean? Especially back then. What else do they got to do? There's nothing to do. They're working terrible jobs.
And what better way too? I just love how it's like whether it's that or Game of Thrones, just the old school. They just got like a fucking just a pint of beer, and they just half of it's like splash when they cheer. Like it's
half of it dribbles down their beard.
Half goes down the chin. Yeah, exactly.
You know they do a lot of drinking in Lord of the Rings. I mean, Merry and Pippin, Hobbit, Sam too, even Hobbits, and they were pounding back
booze.
signs like
the ales.
Man. Yeah,
love the ales.
You know they toss it down in Lord of the Rings. But Halbrand, like I said, playing the long con, buys these guys drinks, playing the whole thing. All right, you know what? Everything's going good. Let me take off before things go awry. And he pops the little crest right off this guy's shoulder without him even knowing. He thinks. Starts heading back home, thinking he's got the crest that he needs. Not so fast. The boys are right behind him. They notice the crest was gone. And it looks like Halbrand's in a tough spot for a moment. But what do you know? Not only can he talk the talk, he can walk the walk. He ends up fucking up all four of these guys. Whips their asses.
Yeah. And again, too, it wasn't it's kind of the same thing of it wasn't like pushing the envelope of like blood and all that, but when the guy's arm goes against the wall and like
call.
It snaps. I was like, oh my god, like that was disgusting. So it was like that same thing again of where
Absolutely right.
they're not pushing the envelope of like blood or gore, but for Lord of the Rings terms, they are.
Violence,
Yeah, it was like, man, I remember what I was watching. I was like, oh, that's fucking gross. The way his arm just snapped.
Yeah,
like, against the
absolutely
corner of
right.
the wall.
I kind of forgot about that, but yeah, he used some good like UFC moves basically.
Yeah, he
Fucked
just-
those guys up.
Ugh,
One of them
man,
even
that
had
was
like a sword
gross.
or a dagger, no problem, took care of him.
Yeah.
So again, we don't know much about this guy except for he's from the Southlands. He was on the run from basically something, but he can talk the talk even in front of the biggest people, whether it be a king, a queen, or whoever. And now we know that he can fight too. So this guy there's something going on here. You know what I mean?
He's got some Aragon to him.
He does have some Aragon to him, actually. You're right. There is a lot of similarities there. Even his kind of look, the hair, and stuff
exactly.
like that.
Greasy long hair.
Yeah. But we bounce right back.
Could be falling in love with an elf. Same thing as Aragon.
Ooh, good call again. That's another one. I like that. They definitely seem like they're getting closer for this episode for sure. But we bounce right back. The day's ride, or however long it was, half a day's ride is over, and we have arrived at the Hall of Lore, which we find out right away was built by Lord Elrond's brother. I didn't even know Lord Elrond had a brother.
Yeah.
We see a cool little picture, but sure enough, I should have wrote down that guy's name, but it was someone actually just like Elrond. They were very similar.
Yeah.
These people love naming their sons and daughters like very similar names. That would be very confusing to live in a household like that.
Right. I mean, they'll begin with E's too.
It's true. It's a good point. But like I said, Elrond's brother actually built the hall, and then we also find out that the old king of Numenor, who is still alive, which is kind of weird because usually when you're a king, you reign until you die. He was banished, but he still lives in his own tower. He wasn't like straight up exiled from the entire land. He's still allowed to live there, basically. But he's been banished to his tower.
You know how bad you have to be as a king back in the day to get fucking impeached?
And what did he? Well, what did he do to get banished there? He backed the elves. He backed the wrong people. That's
Treason.
all he did. Yeah. I mean, so that goes to show how much the rest of these people just didn't give a shit about what the king said.
Like
they did not like these elves, man.
Yeah.
But I found that interesting that this guy that's what he was literally banished for, you know what I mean? For backing these elves.
Yep.
So definitely thought that was pretty interesting. And then we get to the big, sort of a big twist, I guess you could call it, for the episode. In the Hall of Lore, we come across a document, and we find out that Morgoth in the if he was to lose the war, which of course we find out he did, he had a backup plan in place. Basically creating a new land he had put in place for his followers to go to build their strength, and basically that he had a new follower that was going to lead them, Sauron. So that was pretty crazy.
Yeah,
and then we also find out that the logo that we've seen on both her brother and in the cave in episode 1 up north,
Yep.
it wasn't actually a logo. Well, it was a logo, but not like in the sense that we thought. We thought it was kind of like the white hand of Saruman, like a marking kind of representing the guy that was there. It's actually a marking for the Southlands, which, after a little bit of research, I found out the Southlands is in fact right where Mordor is going to fucking pop up.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
Nice.
yeah. So it seems like that's where they're going to be. And we know that the orc camp that Aradin is at is also in the Southlands. So it seems like the orcs are already establishing a foothold there pretty firmly.
Yeah.
Could be one of the reasons why Halbrand left. Orcs might have forced them out. Even if they did support Morgoth, maybe now they're not so friendly, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you guys
right.
are fucking still men. We lost the war. Screw you guys.
I'm
Maybe kind
out,
of a thing.
yeah.
And maybe they were on the run, something like that. But we find out, that the logo is actually, in fact, the Southlands. So that means, the Southlands are in some friggin' trouble. And Galadriel's like, shit's worse than I expected. Like, there's a plan. There are already guys there. We got to get fucking...
Yeah.
moving. I thought shit was bad.
We
No one
gotta
believed it,
mobilize.
You know what I mean? We
Yeah,
got to get going.
yeah.
Exactly. So... that was very interesting to me. I thought that was very cool. I thought the idea of it being sideways and it being, like I said, the logo basically for the Southlands rather than it being... that was a cool little thing. She was like, how could I be so stupid? How did I not see that?
Right.
But I was like, that was cool. I liked it a lot.
You're saying the same thing. You're like, how can I not see that?
Yeah. It was very, very cool. I liked that a lot. So that was all cool. And like I said, we find out that the Southlands are going to be, Sauron's headquarters, basically, going forward.
Yep.
So we go to... probably my second favorite group of characters, to believe it or not. After the dwarves, I don't know what it is. I love the dwarves, but I fucking love these hobbits too, the Hofflets. These people, I love them. I love it.
The Hofflets.
It's a very interesting story because I have no fucking idea where
yeah.
it's going, but I'm very intrigued by the whole thing. Like,
And again,
And
simple people.
yeah,
Just like to have a good time.
right, and like it's just like the Hobbits. They're just funny to me. Yeah, like
just like cool, just simple
not
people,
appearance
man.
wise or anything. Yeah, I don't want to like.
Oh, their costumes are great in this. They're always built to disguise themselves at a moment's notice.
Yeah, when they're in the high
got, like,
when they're in the high
grass.
grass, that's my favorite one. Yeah, that cracks me up. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's a very interesting storyline in the sense of like I just couldn't even give you a prediction or like what I think is going to happen. I have no idea where this storyline's going.
Yeah.
But I am very intrigued by it.
Definitely. So we find out that the entire Harfoot clan, they're in the middle of a migration. We don't know where they're moving to, but it seems like they do this pretty regularly. At first, when they said that, I was like, "Ooh, are we moving to the Shire for the first time? Are we like taking a new home?" But it seems like this is something that they do almost like seasonally, like animals do. You'd like to, you know what I mean? For wintertime, we move south, kind of thing. So they're in the middle. They're doing their prep for their migration. We go to Nori's parents, and we see that Nori's father's ankle is still demolished from episode 1.
I think it was gross too.
Yeah, all messed up. He can't walk, can't put any weight on it. So the idea of a migration and moving our entire house or whatever, like our little caravan, on our backs seems like
Ain't
it's gonna
gonna
be pretty friggin' tough.
Yeah.
He tries to be a good dad, good husband, tries to reassure everything's gonna be all right. Brandyfoot's never been left behind. Brandyfoot, great fucking name.
Yeah.
Great name.
Yep.
The Brandyfoots.
Yep.
But their plan
First
is,
time for everything, though, you know.
It's true. It's true. The plan is basically to stay at the front of the caravan, so that way they can get a little bit of a lead. If they trail back, they have plenty of people to follow. You know what I mean? If they, it's a good idea. I like it. Hopefully, they can probably slow some people down along the way. Slow down the whole orchestra.
Those are very proud people too. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah, definitely.
They just they don't want any help from anybody else. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I got it. Yeah, don't worry about it.
No kidding, especially the whole concept that was saying they're going to get left behind. I thought that was kind of, in a way, kind of proud. That's proud. Like, none of you guys, like, if this guy's foot's hurt, we don't have, like, another guy from another caravan that can come help out. You know what I mean?
Oh, we got to keep this going, man.
None of
Like,
these
we got to
hobbits-
go.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Everyone's out for themselves, these hobbits.
No,
They don't know. They seem like they're these great people, but they don't really want to go out of their way to help each other out too much.
I'm out on the Hobbits now.
Well, at least I'm in on Nori. I'll tell you that. I like Nori. But we find out that Nori, we're gonna go try to steal a book because Gandalf. Oh, well, actually, I keep calling him. I'm already thinking this guy's Gandalf.
Oh,
Gandalf.
yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like that, I'm open for any suggestions onto where this storyline is going. So,
But
if there's anything like that, yeah, I'm all for it. Sign me up.
I mentioned last week. Who knows? It could be Saruman. Saruman hasn't been evil from Jump Street. You know what I mean? Saruman was good.
Yeah.
Went evil. So
Yeah.
like, who knows? Could be him.
Could very well be.
But we'll not give it a name. We'll just call it the Wizard. The Wizard, we found out last episode 2, he's trying to find these stars. Nori says she can find a book that she's going to steal, basically, because they're getting ready for this migration. It's now or never. We're going to be leaving, so I got to get this book for the Wizard now. The stealing book scene I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, it did crack me up the way I forgot like how she exactly did it, but
How the whole thing planned out.
like,
So
yeah,
she like
we just gotta look for
first
the
got to
right.
convince her friend, you know what I mean? First got to convince the
Yeah.
friend to help out. And of course, in typical fashion, the friend's the lookout. And as she's, says Nori's snooping around for the book, trying to find it, the guy's house that she's in, of course, as always, comes walking on in. But he doesn't see her right away because her friend comes in perfectly, sets a distraction. And then Nori's under the table now, trying to find the book from under the table.
Yep.
And the friend's, while talking to the guy, trying to also guide her with her verbiage.
Yeah, like I said, I forgot
Very funny.
how they say it, but they're like, hey, we just gotta like go to like the right.
I'll go straight there
yeah,
now.
to the left, like a little bit to the left. Yeah, it was pretty funny the way it was done.
But I thought that whole thing was pretty funny. And then from there we go to like a little campfire, kind of a campfire. It seems like a thing that they do right before they head out on their little migration at nighttime. They were paying homage to all of the Harfoots that had died in the past year, which again was kind of started sad.
Past migration, right?
What is it?
The past migration.
Oh
right?
yes, from the past migration. Yes, thank you. Which it started kind of like sad. It was like, all right, this person, some tears, and then they started getting to like people that died in ridiculous ways, and then they all of them started like laughing and shit like that, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah, the bees.
Yeah, the bees. What did he say? I can't remember his name, but he goes, that one man was always an idiot, but we loved him. And who else interrupts this little, procession than the wizard himself? He got the papers from Nori. He was looking at him by the fire, accidentally lights him on fire. accidentally basically knocks down a whole bunch of little tents and shit like that, comes stumbling into the meeting, scares a whole bunch of people. A bunch of the Hotfoots go running fucking for their lives, diving into disguise, like we said, using their hats and shit, diving in the bushes, whatever they can do. And they find out that, Nori's been stealing some food, stealing the pages, helping out an outsider, helping out what they call a giant, even though he's just, well, actually, no, I guess Gandalf is pretty tall if you want to call him a giant. But this is
for their terms, yeah.
Yeah, for real, no shit. 2 of them easily, maybe 3. But all this is basically worthy of them being, exiled. They decide not to do that. But they, unfortunately, as punishment, the idea that they had is now out the window because they are going to be at the back of the caravan for the migration.
The caboose.
Which is tough because we already know we're going to be moving real slow, and now we're at the back.
The back of the back.
The back of the back. Yeah, no kidding. So now our job that was going to be tough is going to be even tougher. From there, we go to the prison. Hallbrand, after beating the crap out of those 4 guys, was unfortunately captured by a couple of soldiers, brought down to the little chamber there, held in a little prison cell, and Galadriel comes on down, and it seems like Galadriel found out some other information at the Hall of Lore beside just the stuff about the Southlands. Apparently, Hallbrand's family, not only did they pledge fealty to Morgoth, they were actually family of royalty back in the Southlands. And right now, the Southlands don't have any leader or anything like that, and that's because the rightful leader is sitting in here in a prison cell. So again, another call to Aragorn.
Yeah, right.
A guy who's destined to lead. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I didn't even think. So there's a lot of connections between this Hallbrand guy and Aragorn. A lot of them. Basically, she explains what else she found about the Southlands, how they're in trouble, how there's an army building, and she basically says, hey, we can both restore our family's name, make our families proud. We can go to the Southlands, stop these guys, stop Sauron before they do any damage. And he says, all right, cool, I'm in, but we don't have an army or a ship. And she just says, hey, don't you worry about that because that's all about to change.
I got it.
So, don't know how they're going to get that ship. Don't know where they're going to get that army. Maybe it's going to be something to do with Elendil because they seem like they have a cool little connection already.
Right. Yep.
Who knows? Maybe Isildur comes into play there.
Yep.
Who can say?
Yeah, with the ships, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Maybe Isildur, Elendil, Galadriel. Maybe they all do a little team up, head to Lord Elrond. Who knows? You know what I mean? Maybe there's a new fellowship that we're going to see provided. From there, we went to the quickest scene of the entire episode. It lasted like 2 seconds. It was very strange to me that they threw it in, but it has to mean something for the future. But we have the queen. She just walks up these set of stairs to like this, seems like the penthouse suite, basically. And she says, we don't see anybody, but she says to your father, which I'm assuming might be her son. I don't know. But she's the queen. I imagine it's her kid and the king. You know what I'm saying? But she says, tell your father the elf has arrived. That's it. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah. Gotta mean something.
Is it good news? She doesn't seem happy about it. It seems like it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, how did you guys know that she was coming? To be like, see this in the flames? What is this? Like,
yeah, right. Yeah.
What, we got prophecy in Harry Potter? What are we doing here? Like,
Yeah.
So, to me, I think we're going to definitely see some more of that. I don't think we're done with Numenor at all. I think we're going to be seeing more of this place going forward.
Yeah, they wouldn't have that scene like that unless it meant something down the line.
Right. Weird scene, though, right? Because it was just so short. They didn't show anybody. Not even like, sometimes they do like the back of the head. And
exactly.
Leave it open to interpretation or something.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
No
shadowy image. Nothing at all. Just the queen, her face, her kind of emotion, like I said, not looking happy.
Yeah.
That was
even more of a reason to think that it's going to, there's more to that storyline.
Definitely.
Going in the next couple episodes.
Definitely. We're going to have to see this because they don't get off this island. That's where their story ends. So, for this episode. So, they haven't gotten off. They're still in Numenor. We still got to get to Middle Earth. We still got to get a ship. We still got to get an army. So we'll see how that goes. The second to last scene, we go back to the Harfoots. We are now actually on our migration, and boy, are we really struggling.
Yeah, not off to a good start on the migration. Nope.
We got Nori and her dad, just the two of them trying to carry this whole little hut of theirs on wheels by themselves. They're struggling. It looks like they're going through some swamplands too, which really sucks.
Yeah.
You got uphill, downhill, terrible terrain, water, terrible. And it looks like things are real bad. It looks like we might be in trouble. We might be left behind, just like we were thinking. And then who comes and saves the day but our wizard? Our wizard says, yo, this thing's light work for me. Let me get you.
I got you.
Calls Nori friend, which I thought was nice, very sweet.
And that was the first time he talked, right?
Gandalf.
Was that the first time that he?
Yeah. I was just thinking of that scene in Fellowship of the Ring. What's the Elvish word for friend? But
Yeah, right. To open the door of the cave.
Moria,
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. I think that the more that he becomes friends with these hobbits, the more I think that I'm almost starting to think that they want you to think it's Gandalf. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, everybody loves him. He's a huge character from the trilogy. We know that he loves hobbits. We're going to try to drive this thing home. He kind of looks like him even. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be fucking Saruman. I think it's going to be Saruman. I think they're going to try to hit us with a little twist.
I just don't know how they're going to pull. I like where you're at. I don't know how they're going to pull it off. But, yeah, I could definitely see, especially, I'm obviously more right now feeling like how it was with Gandalf, but that's going to be really tough to turn around. But, yeah, I'm all for, like I said, I literally have no idea what the fuck's going on with this storyline, but I'm open for any suggestions. So I'll, go into the next couple episodes, I'll start thinking if it's like something else like that. But, yeah, I like where your head's going.
I do not think it's Sauron, to be honest with you.
Saruman. The wizard. The white wizard.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think
those two names, again, nightmare.
Yeah, I don't think it's Saruman, though. No.
Okay.
I'm not feeling it.
I also think, just from like a personal standpoint, I think there's more to do with his character than there is to do with Gandalf's character. Like, Gandalf's just basically through and through like a good guy.
Yeah.
So all we can really see him do is kind of actually what he is doing, actually, is building this connection with the hobbits and why he likes them. But I don't think there's like too much more they can do with that. Whereas Saruman, they can kind of show his progression of good to bad of some things.
Yeah.
Even if it's just if he's mostly good, maybe towards the end of the show, they start to show these little cracks where maybe there could be some evil to him or something like that.
Yeah.
I just feel
there's one just like monumental event that happens that switches him.
Yep.
Again, right now I don't know what that could be, but
like, you get what I'm saying. There's more to do with that storyline. If it was him than if it was Gandalf.
Yeah.
It could be a whole new wizard entirely.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine that he just helps them move and help them migrate and they all live happily ever after. You know what I mean? Like something.
No,
something's gonna happen.
And now it's just he's just going to them to their new home. He's migrating too. You know what I mean? So him and Nori are still going to be together.
Yep.
But like I said, I love that storyline. I'm very interested to see more of the hobbits. I like the hobbits, even if they are a little bit sketchy people. They're only looking out for themselves.
Selfish bastards.
And then we close out with our last scene, and it's a nice little battle scene. We go back to the camp. Aradin and his boys, they've established their little plan here. We're going to use the sun. We're going to fucking try to make a run for it, basically. We attack a couple of the orcs. A little fight scene breaks out. Aradin makes a cool little move, chops down.
Yeah, that was wicked cool.
Flies through the air, very cool.
Love that.
Looked like Galadriel again with the elves kind of floating. But in episode 1, people were mad that she jumped off the sword. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She like floated.
Yeah.
He did a lot of this same stuff in this fight scene.
Yeah.
He did that first, and then he does the dive of.
And I was like, what the fuck is he like? He's just gonna go into this gang of orcs. Like I didn't even know what he was gonna do. You know what I mean? But he's like lunging at them. I'm like, all right, what the fuck is he gonna do here?
Yeah.
And then that's when he cuts the like the awning down or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. Like that was very
smart
cool.
move using the sun, definitely. Yeah. So the orcs, because they can't now, they're kind of sort of trapped in a way. They're trying to use whatever coverage they can to get out of the sun. They call in a ward, which we talked about last week with Ledoux, because they mentioned the dogs, which we saw last week. We didn't know if they were going to somehow like evolve into the wargs. Sure enough, the wargs are already here. They call a warg out, and it looks fucking awesome again.
Now, those is that the same like dog or wolves that Aragorn's fighting
in Two Towers?
In the Two Towers.
This one is, yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
I thought it. Yeah.
I thought they showed a different one in episode 2, which they just call I think either dogs or wolves. But
right.
It was similar, but not like as fierce. Basically, They look a little bit smaller, kind of. And I was thinking, they may be gonna because we have thousands of years to Lord of the Rings. They're gonna just kind of like almost soup up,
evolve or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, it seems like we already have wargs. The warg fucking does some damage too, man. It rips off.
Again, another thing, like it wasn't gross. Intestines weren't flying out or anything. Yeah. Like it wasn't that disgusting. But for Lord of the Rings terms, it like pushed the envelope. Like he's just gnawing at this girl's stomach. I was like, oh shit, like. Push the envelope again in terms of Lord of the Rings.
Definitely. I like it too. Get us a little bit more blood. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't gonna make it. I'm sure they know they don't have to make it Game of Thrones or anything like that in terms of the gore. But there's from the original Lord of the Rings, there's not much of an envelope to push. But
no,
really just push it just enough, like what they're doing so far. And like I said, I don't think anybody's asking for somebody's guts spilling out all over the
I'm
over the
looking
floor
for
or anything.
Braveheart
But
Gladiator.
yeah, they're pushing it just enough right now where it's good.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. I agree. But again, cool little fight scene. Arandia pulls a another floating move this time, dodges the warg, ends up kind of trapping it with a tree kind of a thing, ties it up. His boy escapes over the top, and we think he's going to be able to make a move for the trees. All right, we fucking did it. We're going to be out of here. And then it turns out, fucking bang, shot with an arrow. He's dead. Arandir still stuck in these tunnels, still captured by the orcs. Most of his friends, these prisoners that could have helped him escape, are all dead now.
And we never saw where the arrow came from, right? Like we never saw.
It just looked like it came from a different, probably a different section of tunnels from a different orc.
Yeah.
But the orcs are about to basically take Arandir and strap him down and cut his throat. And right before they do, they say, "Not so fast." Third time, call Adar out here. Get him out here.
We're gonna see the big. Yeah, we're gonna see the big guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And sure enough, we get a glimpse of him. Nothing too clean, but he's wearing the gloves that look like Sauron's gloves. So it seems like definitely could be him, and it seems like we could be getting him the next episode.
Yep. Yeah.
So cool way to end the episode for sure, with a nice little tease right there of what could be Sauron. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Overall, good episode. I liked. It's probably my favorite out of the three of them so far. And it's keeping me interested. So.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it so far.
All right, we are we're taking our time here. But we're gonna stop burning through. Let's do our last one here. We got House of the Dragon, the good stuff. A big episode as far as I would say political movements go. Episode 4.
A lot of movements too, not just politically.
No.
a lot of movements.
Yeah. If you like a little bit of Thrones with your porn, this was a good episode for you.
Yeah. Oh my god, I need a cigarette after watching this episode. My god. Gotcha. Oh man, yeah, smoke up after that episode. My lord.
Episode 4, King of the Narrow Sea, entitled. Just off the top, good episode, like I said. Not too much action, a lot of politics. Not too much of a time jump. It seems like we only did maybe about 6 months or a year or so in this one.
Yeah. I guess the next one is supposed to be the next one is the last episode that
Rhaenyra.
Yeah, so we're going into that. And then just like before we get into it, I think I was here after the first episode.
Yes.
Like my biggest takeaway so far, and this episode just submitted it even more. The king is so fucking bad at his job.
He is.
That's been my biggest takeaway, I think, out of all 4 episodes so far. It's like whether it culminates to like Dance of the Dragons, like it's gonna be because this guy's a fucking idiot and can't do his job as a king.
Yep,
is gonna be the downfall. Like I just feel like he's so bad at his job so far. Like
Daemon told us as much. He said he's always been bad at this job. What? Being king. He said it from the beginning.
Just everything. He's fucking horrendous at his job.
I'd have to agree. I would have to agree. Again, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen the newest episode of Game of Thrones. We're going to be diving into it now, so definitely come back and check us out if you haven't seen it. We open up, and just where we left off last week, we find out Rhaenyra is going to have to be married. She's got to wed. It's her duty as as heir. We have a tour of suitors, basically men from all over the kingdom have come to Dragonstone to basically give their speech, give their plea.
Yeah, reminded me a lot of when she was picking a knight. Yeah. Just a lot of underqualified fucking definitely. People going into it. She's like, nope, next.
Yep.
Nope, next.
We got old guy. We got old men, way too old.
Yeah.
We have kids like 13, 14 years old.
Except that kid was badass.
Yeah, he sure was.
Episode, that was
he
cool.
sure was.
Yeah, it was the same thing of just, nope, next.
Yeah.
These guys aren't going.
And Rhaenyra was clearly not pleased by it.
No,
You
exactly.
could tell. She
yeah.
was very annoyed. Almost kind of like, is this the best that we have to offer, man? Like,
right.
really, like,
yeah.
I'm not to like brag, but like I'm kind of a prize here. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
exactly.
I got a Dragonstone. I'm heir to the fucking Iron Throne. I'm pretty good looking. I'm fucking 20 years old. Like, come on. What are we doing here?
Hey, send me out there, baby. Send me out there. Give me a chance, coach. Come on.
But, like I said, we see this old guy come up. She kind of belittles him a little bit in front of everybody. Then this kid comes up. He gets belittled by another guy who I don't know if he was a suitor before, but this guy's just giving him shit. Ends up calling him Craven.
Just a classic heckler in the crowd.
Yeah, seriously, a typical heckler. This kid ain't having it, though. This kid's got some balls. You know what? He's like, you gonna call me Craven? Fuck you, dude. I don't care if you're an old man. Pulls out his sword. Rhaenyra's like, all right, we're out of here. Swords are getting drawn. That's my cue to friggin' leave. Yeah. But before she leaves, we find out that this fucking little kid just gutted this dude.
You just hear,
Yeah, I was say you hear it, and like right when I heard it, I was like, all right, they definitely didn't show this kid just get fucked up. I was like, this kid definitely fucked this guy up, huh? And then it showed. I was like, yeah, let's go. Like, I don't know, that was awesome to me.
And you know what makes me curious is, like you just said, we have the 10-year jump coming up in another episode. Do we see this kid as
Give this guy another 10 years?
Do we see this kid as a role in the show?
Right.
You know what I mean? Is he like a badass soldier now, maybe? Maybe
Yeah.
he got his first fucking taste of blood, and right after this, he was like, rah!
Yeah. Give him another 10 years. We'll see what happens.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm very curious. I know they said that he was from the Blackwood family, so I keep a name out for that, I guess. But basically, you know, like I said, Rhaenyra takes off. We're heading back to King's Landing. Right as we're getting there to King's Landing, who else shows up at the exact same time and almost knocks her whole damn boat over? But Prince Daemon on Caraxes. Awesome looking scene. I thought looked wicked cool.
Right.
Just fucking get the ocean flowing, but she's like, you know, that already looked cool as it was, and then all of a sudden, every time Caraxes is on screen, I kind of lose my shit a little bit. He looks so fucking
that dragon's badass.
just the most badass dragon out of all of them, even better.
And
than
like I think like you said too, the last time I was on those, like the sound is really cool. Like I don't know, like his like screech kind of thing. Yeah. It's wicked cool. Like he doesn't just sound like a generic dragon.
Lewis loves that word. Every time he hears the word screech, Lewis cracks up.
Yeah, he's got his own. He's got his own tone to it. I don't know. Like it's just a nice little touch where he just doesn't sound like a generic dragon. I don't know, he sounds wicked cool when he's on the screen.
But like I said, yep. So we have, you know, everyone's back in town now. Prince Daemon is back in King's Landing since being exiled, basically, or banished in the first episode. And Princess Rhaenyra is back from her tour of seeing her suitors. And we're going to go to the throne room. And the king is going to see his brother for the first time in a good while since he banished him, like I said. And Prince Daemon is rocking a new haircut, which I'm not going to lie. I dig the new cut.
Can I say something? I thought it was pretty interesting that everybody like lined up. Like anybody of any sort of significance or power was there in that room when he came back.
Oh, yeah.
Why was that?
Because, you know, I think they don't know exactly what's going to happen in that scenario because, like I said, the last time he was here, he was banished. But he's returning, and now he is like a war hero. You know what I mean? He just helped the throne save the Stepstones. So it's kind of like, how is this all going to play out? Is the king going to be cool about it? Are they going to be hospitable? Are they going to fucking fight to the death in the throne room kind of a thing?
I mean, he's teaming up with a member of his council that just literally basically said, fuck you, I'm out. Like, you know, and I know at the first episode I said he was kind of my suspect number one. I definitely was wrong about that one. I think he's just a badass and he's had enough of the king's shit, essentially.
Like you said, he realized the bad king.
He's like, dude, you stink. Like, I'm just gonna figure this out on my own, dude. I'm out of here. So I was wrong about Corlys, but I still think he's an awesome character. I think he just, like I said, he had enough of the king's shit. He was like, I'm just gonna take matters into my own hands.
I like him too. I want to see a little bit more of him. I feel like I
hope it's not the end of him.
Get more of him, but I feel like every episode is just like a scene here or there.
Yeah,
I would like some more with him, but I'm sure we're gonna get there. But like I said, new haircut, which I liked. I liked the new do. I thought it was pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. And he's also got himself a nice little crown wrapped around his head. He walks right up to the king with his with the crab feet is like mallet. I think it is. It's not a sword. It's some kind of big hammer looking thing. But awesome line. Drops it on like the steps of the throne and says, "Add it to the chair."
Add it to the chair.
Yeah, I think that's really
awesome.
That's really badass too. That's what that is just all like the swords
conquered
and
enemies.
Weapons of his conquered
Vanquished
enemies.
enemies.
Yeah,
and not like we see it in Game of Thrones where it's just the throne. They have that. It's like the whole entire walk up.
Yep.
It's fucking thousands and thousands of blades.
Yep.
The throne room in general looks so different in this show than it does to Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Like someone's gonna come in there and redo that whole place.
Yep.
But the king right away, you know, fucking asks him, "Yo, what the hell? What is this? You're a king now too?" Says, "Hey man, I didn't fucking make myself king. They made me king when I was when I won the the Stepstones. They made me king of the Narrow Sea." But he plays his hand perfectly, still being a good guy. He takes the crown right off and says, "But there's only one true king, your grace, and that's you. Here's the throne, it's yours. Here's the Stepstones, they're yours." And the king is like, "Fuck, all right, you know I banished you, but you are my brother. You did just win the battle. Now you're doing the right thing." He's on one knee. Get your ass up here and give you a hug.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And that's when
everyone starts applauding.
yeah. I was actually just going to go back to you. I think that's because they were kind of like, they didn't know, you know what I mean? They were kind of like
a sigh of relief almost.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
all right, let's go.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of the people probably, because, a lot of the commoners and stuff, not the commoners, I know this is the actual throne room, but it's higher end people, but I'm sure they're fans of these tourney nights and shit like that. Prince Damon seems like a guy that people can get behind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They love Jamie for winning. They love Mountain for winning, even though he's a psychopath. The Knight of Flowers, all that shit. I can see that a lot of people, and they want Damon around probably.
Yeah, guy you want to root for.
Definitely. So everything's all cool there. We're kind of doing a little celebration, sort of, a little family gathering in the gardens. The king and Prince Damon are shooting the shit. Allison comes over, kind of gets disrespected. Says, hey, you want to go check these out? The king laughs at her.
Yeah, I thought that was really, they were just kind of like, yeah, we'll check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to check out the tapestries.
Yeah, definitely. We'll meet you there.
King just kind of just shits all over her, which I thought pretty funny. I definitely enjoyed it. So she walks away all kind of sour. And then Rhaenyra follows her over, kind of realizing that she was a little upset. And then they have a little talk, which is weird because this talk goes real pleasant, real warm from where we last saw them in the last episode.
Yeah.
Kind of cold.
Similar to the king and the brother, just,
yeah.
Trying to rekindle. Everybody's
trying
to get back
the fences.
together. Now.
Everyone's
Yeah,
trying
exactly.
to get all the families trying to come back together. You know what I mean?
Time of peace kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's get everybody back together.
Allison asked her how the tour went. Rhaenyra basically shrugs it off, makes fun of it, said she suffered it for as long as she could. Allison says it's romantic, and she goes, yeah, real romantic. They want to shove me up in a tower and have me just force out airs. And then as soon as she says that, she's like, fuck, that's exactly what happened to you, huh?
Yeah.
Shit. And then she quickly apologizes.
Yeah.
But there, she's able to get over it. Allison kind of says, it seems like Allison missed her. It seems like she says that, she doesn't have any friends now. Everyone just looks at her like the queen, and she's not the Lady Allison anymore. You know what I mean? She's just the queen to everybody. So it seems like her and Rhaenyra are starting to rekindle a bit, which is good to see, I suppose.
She already made an heir, so it's like, all right, you did your job. Like, you can just, nobody really cares about you. Keep doing your thing.
Yeah, and it seems like even though Allison, while she might have a little bit of plans of her own, she's still like, I thought, I said last week, and I still stand by it, I think she does genuinely care about Rhaenyra, even though she might have some of her own interests, too.
Yeah.
I don't think
Is it her own interest, or is it her father's interest?
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
That kind of being in the back of her mind.
And you know what? I don't think she's the only character that feels that way about Rhaenyra. I think that's exactly how Daemon feels. I think he's a bit torn, too, between his own, what he wants, and how he actually feels about it. And I think, there's some collision there.
Yep.
But we leave the gardens, on a high note. Everyone seems to be pretty happy. Everyone's, kumbaya. And we go to the High Council. And the first thing I noticed right away is that Rhaenyra, no longer being disrespected, no longer the cupbearer. She's
got a seat
at the table. She's even got one of those cool little bally things that they all have that they put in. So I thought
Granted,
that
it
was
might
cool.
be because Corliss, like I said, just said, fuck this shit, I'm out, and got up and left. But, hey,
Good point.
beggars can't be choosers. She's got a seat nonetheless.
Good point. At least, yeah. It's
not like- I don't think-
get some respect.
I don't think they put an extra chair there, is all I'm saying. I think,
Just slid his over.
I think there just so happened to be an extra chair, and she was like, they were like, all right, yeah, you can take a seat, because this guy just said, fuck the king, I'm out of here. So I don't think they exactly pulled up an extra chair for her, is what I'm saying.
It was just open, and she was just like, you guys like.
They're like, yeah, sit down. Yeah. Yeah, she's like, yeah.
But we find out that the sea snake, unlike Daemon, did not come back to King's Landing to basically, receive his reward.
Yeah, fuck them.
celebration.
That's why I love him.
Yeah,
Fuck you. I'm out of here.
You turned so fast.
Yeah, no. Like I said, I didn't dislike him at first. I just
thought he was
thought
sketchy.
he just kind of in the background a little bit sketchy. But now, yeah, he's like I said, like there's a reason why he was against the king. It's because the king is terrible at his job. Yeah, and he just was the only one that had any balls to take matters into his own hands.
Yep. And it turns out that not only is he not showing up to King's Landing, he also is starting to cause some friction because he is planning.
Making new allegiances. I'm out.
Yeah, he's planning to wed his daughter, who was offered up to the king, but, rejected. He is offering her up to the Lord of Seas from Brothels, from the Free Cities, starting to try to form a little bit of a connection, a tie between King's Land, or Westeros, and the Free Cities. This could be problematic for the king in a lot of ways.
And they're both are like filthy rich too, right? Like I think they said
Brothels?
like the sea
that's
snakes.
where the Iron Bank is.
Yeah,
That's
they said the
tons
sea
of money.
snakes are like they're wealthy as hell too. So
Yep.
yeah, in terms of the money, just the money alone, that's
And they called
good
him
combination.
they called him the Lord of Seas. So we have the Lord of Seas from the Free Cities, and then we have the Sea Snake from Westeros. So we got to imagine between the two of these guys together, if they form houses, not only going to be rich, they're going to control the oceans.
yeah, they're gonna be traveling
They're
too.
going to have
Yeah,
all the ships.
yep.
Which
trade routes, all
trade
that.
ports and things like that. Yeah,
Which, while it is a great thing to have, controlling the seas is awesome. Controlling the trade is awesome. One big problem is that ships are made of wood, and wood catches fire, and we have a whole lot of dragons.
yeah.
So we'll see how that whole thing
Right.
works out.
It's true.
But we do know that there's some problems stirring with the sea snake. And
Come with the
driftwood
king, you
and the
best
free
not
cities.
miss, boy.
That's it, pretty much.
So from there, we go to where we're going to spend kind of the majority of our episode. We're going to show the two ladies and how differently the two nights of these two women can possibly go. We have Allison, who does the good old woman thing, finds a husband and the king, pushes out heirs, and Rhaenyra, who's a little bit more rambunctious. She's going to go out for a night on the town.
She's gonna go to Amsterdam for the night, basically.
Yep. So we literally open up. Allison is in her chamber by herself. She's, taking care of her baby, just, bumping it up, down.
Not having a good time.
No,
like
it's
baby's crying its head off.
Yep.
She doesn't look like she's enjoying it.
Seems like a tough way to start the night. And that's just the beginning of her night, is dealing with
Yeah.
the crying baby. That's,
Yeah.
just how we're going to start things off for her. And she's going to get rougher and rougher. Meanwhile, Rhaenyra, she enters her chamber. She's, getting ready to go to sleep. And she's got a bag waiting for her on the table. She's like, what the fuck? This isn't my bag. Empties out the bag. And what does she have? Some clothes. She's like, what the fuck? These aren't my clothes.
She gives it a sniff.
Gives it a sniff. Yeah, he's clean, dirty. What the fuck is this? And there's a note. The note basically is a drawing of her room, and it shows where she can escape into one of the Targaryen secret tunnels right through her room. She doesn't even know it's there. Who does know it's there? Prince Daemon knows it's there, baby. She fucking has eyes of excitement. She goes flying through that wall, down some tunnels, and sure enough, Daemon's waiting for her on the other end. But this, to me, we've seen Daemon already now use these tunnels like 3 or 4 different times. I think they're going to be a bigger and bigger part of the show.
Yeah.
I want to know how much he's seen that we haven't seen him see. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If
Yeah.
he knows how to get out of her room, he knows how to see into her room. So what's he looking at? And shit.
It's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a
What's
good
he
point.
looking at in the other bedrooms? What's he looking at in the king's chamber? Maybe. You know
Right.
what I mean?
He would never do anything like that,
I'm curious because these
He would
tunnels,
never.
Yeah, no kidding. These tunnels were built by Targaryens and shit, but like you don't know specifically which ones and which Targaryen knows about all of them. Like we haven't seen King Viserys use them at all. Like maybe he doesn't
No.
even know they exist.
Right.
Princess Rhaenyra hasn't used them until now when he showed them. So I'm interested to see how much of an impact these things play in the show. We already saw him steal a dragon egg and shit like that, but we're out on the town now. We're outside of the Red Keep, and we are going to go for what seems like date night, I guess, in Game of Thrones.
For some.
Game of Thrones land.
Not exactly dinner and a movie.
Nah, we're gonna walk the street with the commoners, see some street magic, see some little street magicians do some tricks and stuff like that. They're taking in the sights, they're having some drinks, and while they're having a good time, you know what I mean, enjoying the commoners, like I said, having some fun, having some drinks. We go to Allison, and now she's done taking care of her baby. She's made it up to the king's chambers now, and now she is giving the king a little bath, which I cannot imagine is pleasant at all.
Not enjoying that either. And like she doesn't even try to hide it either, I feel like. Between this scene and the next scene, like
Oh no, especially the next one.
She's had enough of this shit. Like
Yeah.
she's done doing this stuff, and like again, it just goes to show the king is so fucking bad at his, like, again, I'm not saying he's a bad actor or anything, like he's not a bad character. He just
king.
sucks at his job.
Bad
Yeah, like
king.
dude, read the room, my man.
He's looking pretty worse for wears in this bath right now too. He looks tired.
Yeah.
He looks.
Is
beat
his
up.
I don't know if I saw in the last episode. His pinky's gone.
Two fingers.
Two fingers are gone, right?
Two fingers gonzo. Yep. And in a very second, we're going to see what else has gotten worse, too. But that's the next part for Allison's night. After taking care of her baby, she's got to go take care of her old-ass, decrepit husband with fucking missing fingies. We go, again, back to the date night, and now we're watching, we're taking in a play, taking in a little show. And basically, they're putting
These
on a
plays
play.
never go well in Game of Thrones.
Never, ever,
Like they're always so insulting, and it's always the person that it's
always.
being insulted to
Yep.
is watching it. Like
Yeah.
they don't these plays never pan out well in Game of Thrones. For some
The
characters.
guys, the directors of these things, real assholes.
Yeah.
Cosmic assholes.
Yeah, they rip into whoever it is. It's almost like they know that the person's watching it. Like they
They get a
rip
tip, she's going to
into
be in the crowd, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, the play is all about the succession. You know, they're basically making fun of Rhaenyra for being a female heir. And now that we have a Prince Aegon, even though he's only 3, he's the rightful heir. And Princess Rhaenyra would be feeble, they call her. The part that I found funny about this wasn't even so much the play. It was Rhaenyra booing the play. I thought
Yeah.
it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
She had a smile about it, though. She was, being playful.
Yeah.
She's just out having a good time, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And basically, they finish up the play, they walk away, and then Prince Daemon is saying that, these people that are making these plays and stuff, these are the people that you're going to have to rule over. So, like, even though you're just taking it all as a joke, you should maybe take it a little bit more seriously, because if something happens and you're queen, these are the people that you're going to watch over, and they're calling you feeble, and they're basically laughing at you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she's just like, bro, I thought we were having a date night. I don't want to talk about work. We're having fun out here. Grabs a piece of street meat. He's like, bro, you got to pay for that. Throws the street meat, and then she just takes off running. She's like, I'm having fun. Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. I'm out of here.
Get a little taste of the pleasure out on the town, and then it's just, I'm out of here. See ya.
Just having fun. She's just the girl in the town for the night,
That's
man.
it.
Just one drink. That's all it took.
Lightweight. Who knows what Prince Daemon was drinking, though? He's probably drinking that hard
Oh,
shit.
Jesus.
Drink
Yeah, he's got
moonshine.
some kind of concoction. He's got the vodka and yak's milk from She-Hulk. That's what gets him fucked up.
Great tie. I love that. That's a great loop. But like I said, she takes off running, heads down a dark alley or two, a little sketchy. But then she gets caught by who other than a king's guard. Sir Harlan stops her. He's like, yo, what are you running from? Now I'm thinking he's going to have a little fucking prisoner or something.
Yeah, what are you doing in Nocturne Alley?
Yeah.
This is pretty much what that is.
Perfect. And turns out she just, real quick, like, hey, Sir Harlan, it's me. And he's like, oh, shit, what the hell are you doing down here? Then he sees Prince Daemon coming. And he's just like, what are you two up to? Okay, proceed. I don't even want to
I think they took a wrong turn.
Don't even tell anybody you saw me down here.
Yeah.
Just get out of here. Just go. But they head out and they head into a brothel. They head on into a brothel. Interesting spot. Let the sex begin. Whole lot of everything flying around. Some cock, some boobs, everything's flying in this place. But they're not the only ones that are watching some sex or having some sex. They are going to go to Allison's bedchamber, and she's going to get a little call from the king. Hey, I need you up here right away. She's like, it's late at night. What the hell do you want me for? Fuck, it can only be one thing. And sure enough, we see her a few moments later, and she is just stuck underneath the king. But now we get a look at his absolutely rotting fucking back.
Yeah.
Just got like 3 blotches of just rotting fucking
Straight
skin.
nasty.
Disgusting. The guy is literally rotting from the inside out. Like, that shit's catching up to him. We haven't seen it now since episode 1, the back, but...
And it kind of makes me think too. Like I said, this is the last next episode is the last one where all these actors are playing their roles. Like, so there's gonna be a big jump. So like, how's this gonna look in however long the jump is? You know what I mean? Like, say if it's,
I don't think he's gonna get to the jump.
yeah, he might not even get. He might not even get to
the
the jump. What's that thing gonna look like if it's a 10-year jump in between next episode and the one after?
I think episode 5 is gonna be it for our king.
Might be.
I think the struggle. I think we're going to see the power struggle between
Rhaenyra and Rhaenys?
Yeah, exactly.
spot off.
And maybe even Aegon.
Yeah. Especially if there's a jump, because now we have him at, say, roughly like 2.5, 3 years old in this episode, 10 years. We're talking 13, 14, which is kind of the time when these kids now back then start kind of getting ballsy, you know what I mean? I think that's what Joffrey's supposed to be, is like 14 or something like that. But, like I said, Allison looking like she's having just an absolutely miserable time. We go back to the brothel house, and we have really made our way all the way to the back of this joint here now. And Prince Daemon's going to make his move, which we all saw, I think, coming from episode 1. It's finally time.
Didn't think it was gonna be that soon into the season. I mean, obviously as the episode progressed, I feel like you took the hint, like this is gonna happen, but I didn't think it was gonna be that fast in the season, I guess.
Yep. Yep, Prince Daemon obviously knows that Rhaenyra is going through some shit right now as far as her allegiance to marry. She's got to do her duty. She's doing these suitors. She hates them all. She's looking at marriage through a real negative perspective. And I think with that, especially back then, with marriage comes the idea of sex. You know what I mean? Like these people aren't supposed to be having sex before they're married because they're supposed to be.
They're there to reproduce.
Exactly. So Prince Daemon, kind of is like, hey, listen, like this is where people come to fucking do what they want. You know what I mean? Like, sex is not just a one-way street. It's supposed to be fucking fun and pleasurable for all the parties involved. It's supposed to be a good time. Let your hair down. Let's have some fun. Next thing you know, we're doing a little making out, a little swapping of saliva, little Jon Snow, Daenerys flashbacks. You know what I mean? And sure enough, Damien, I think a little bit surprised by Rhaenyra's fucking hell yeah. They start pulling at each other's strings, start doing a little clothes untying. He's flipping her around. Things are starting to get hot and heavy. She's looking excited as hell.
Yeah, she's ready to go.
She's looking excited as hell.
She's ready to go.
And all of a sudden, we get to the big moment, the time for, to do the deed, and Daemon fucking can't do it. Fucking pounds the wall and sods off.
Yeah, and this is the second time too in the first 4 episodes where he's hasn't been able to do it.
I didn't even think of that.
Because in the first episode he's having sex with his wife and it's the same thing. Like he can't. So I don't know if there's any connection with that or if he just has
that's right.
performance issues.
I didn't even think.
But
of that.
it's not the first time where he hasn't been able to.
Good call.
To get it done when it matters. So I don't know if there was any, like I said, correlation with that, or if he's just, he just needs Viagra.
If he just needs Viagra. Well, we're gonna find out that Thrones Times had a different medicine back in the day very shortly. Maybe they had some Viagra too. That maybe Maester can whip him up a drink. But like I said, Daemon can't get the deed done. He fucking he punches a wall and then he just literally takes off, just leaves Rhaenyra.
That's all you can really do. That's all you can really do in that situation.
Yeah, it's tough. That's true. I guess.
I'm out of here.
That's a tough conversation to have.
Get out of here.
Like pants down his legs still. He's still just waddling away. Just that's all you can do in that situation. I feel like.
He takes.
You want me to call you a cab or something? She's like, no,
call you a chariot? Go to fucking get a horse over there.
You gotta just take off.
Rhaenyra tries to follow him out, and it turns out that they haven't been alone all night. They've had a little fucking birdie tailing them around, keeping eyes on them.
Birdies in his brothels, man.
Yeah, always,
Always the little birds,
Birds
little
in the
birds,
brothels,
dude.
Always the little birds. Kid of like maybe 13, 14, something like that.
That's the name of the episode, Birds in the Brothels, right there.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. Birds in the brothels. But, like I said, the kid's been, spying on them all night. We go back to Rhaenyra's bedchamber, and, like I said, she was very, very excited down in the brothel.
Still is excited.
And when she gets back to her bedchamber, she is...
Right place, right time.
Still excited, right. And who's outside of her door that night, keeping guard? No other than Christian Cole,
Looking for someone to finish the job. That's all it is.
I don't know how you guys are, but I am Team Cole on this one. I'd rather see her be with Cole.
Oh, all right. Well,
to be honest,
unfortunately, that's not going to be totally possible because of his station and such.
True.
Also, his low-ranking nobility. You know what I mean? Tough. There's a lot of factors, but they could definitely have a little secret thing going on. Yeah. Like I mentioned it. I don't know if it was the episode that you were on or not, but they don't mention it at all in the show. But in the book, Cersei carries on with almost all of the King's Guard.
Oh,
like behind closed doors, almost all of them.
Yeah. And they're not allowed to take their armor off. I think they said, right? Like
they're not supposed to, right? Yeah. Like you're not supposed to see them without their armor.
So it's kind of like how the Mandalorian. You know what I mean? Like, is he now out of the?
Yeah, you're not supposed
out of the guild now that he took. You know what I mean? He's gonna get found out.
No wives, no kids, none of that shit.
Yep.
But yeah, so like we said, Rhaenyra's still excited. She basically plays a little game of cat and mouse, takes his helmet, lures him into the room, and then lures him into a kiss. Christian Cole can't fucking believe it, but. She's got a persuasive eye to her, and next thing you know, they're spending 3 or 4 hours taking off his thousands of pieces of armor. Let me tell you, man, having sex back in the day, you have so much time for second thoughts. I mean, you have like 56 thoughts. Like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to do this? Do I really want to do this? If you're if you're drunk, by the time you get all your clothes off, you're gonna be fucking sober.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You're sleeping.
And afterwards, you have a lot of regret if it's not what you panned out to,
Yeah,
because you're going to see that motherfucker dress up for
shit.
half an hour after. Like, dude, I just want you to get out of here.
Well, that was fun.
Exactly.
Hey, I mentioned it earlier. Damon knew how to get out of that room, and I mentioned those tunnels. Is Damon watching this right now? We have no idea where he ran off to. Maybe he's watching her bang call out right now.
Can't imagine he went anywhere else except just to bed in shame. But
Oh, shit.
yeah, not a good look for him. Although he probably, because I mean, we'll get into it, I'm sure. But he woke up like hungover as shit
Yeah,
the next.
that's
So he
actually
probably
right
just got home and just
Passed out.
drunk to the point where he wanted
Yeah.
to forget about what the entire night and what happened.
Looks like he went to a different brothel, passed out for the night. He wakes up to who else but his friggin' his brothel wench that he took to Dragonstone. But she's not in Dragonstone no more. Now she's here, and it seems like she's starting to play the game a little bit. I said that she reminded me of Shay earlier in the show, and now she's really starting to remind me of Shay. Because not only did she, quote unquote, take care of Damon, which of course that's got ulterior motives behind it, but the spy that was following them around all night, she pays off. So that spy was there because of her,
Right.
which I found to be very, very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, we should mention that we also quickly saw right after Raynara and Cole get together, the spy went to Isle Hightower, told him what he saw.
Yeah, that's how they. Yep, that's right. That's how we found out. Yep.
So he's gonna go tell. The spy tells Otto, and then in the morning we see that he goes and tells Damon's girl. So they were both, paying him off. He's doing a little double dipping.
Made
for
double
his
the pay,
spy
yeah.
gain. Yeah,
Not bad.
definitely nothing wrong with that. But what exactly is she up to? You know what I mean? Like, why is she having someone spy on Damon? Like, what is she, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Does
Like,
she just not trust him, or
Exactly.
is there another motive?
That's what I'm thinking.
Is
Is she trying to
Otto
do-
paying her to?
Ooh,
You know what I mean? Like,
that's good.
is that somebody that
That's
is
good.
kind of reporting to Otto at the end of the day?
That's good.
yeah,
I like that.
could be a lot
That's a
of
good
different things.
thought. That's a very good thought. Well, like I said, big time Shay vibes.
Yeah.
Big time. She's not just some dumb wench. She knows she's playing the game. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Exactly.
So, like we said, Otto now knows. So Otto in the morning, now that he's done some due diligence, he's talked to a couple of the other people that were in the brothel. He has to go tell the king. And boy, does it not go well at all. The king is furious. He doesn't even believe it. And sure enough, what does he do? He basically accuses Otto of trying to further his own plot, his own self.
Which again just goes to show how fucking bad the king is at his job. Like, this is actually the ones. Well, like, this is numerous times now where Otto's given him information that is actually true, and he
It is true.
He does it. I don't know if he probably just did it out of, out of spite, or like was just like so mad at the time that he found out. It was kind of like initial reaction, but like, that's what I'm saying. It's just more proof that he's so bad at his job. Like, this time Otto's literally telling the truth. He's telling you word for, like, you saw what happened.
Yep.
It's not like how the first time was, where, how I was saying when the David made that speech about how, the king for a day, and you never heard him say it. He's telling him now, like, we saw
you got
what they
five
saw,
multiple
like,
witnesses.
yeah, and he's like, oh, you're out of here, you're done. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, this time I'm actually telling you the truth on what's happening. So it's,
Yeah.
again, it's just more evidence that the king is just
It's
not,
true. The
not
king
a
does
good
bring
king.
up one good point, though. He's basically saying, like, why was anybody watching my daughter, though? Like, my daughter's the heir, the princess. Like, why is, aside from, like, you're a Kingsguard, her personal
Yeah,
protector, why
right.
why do you have
Yeah.
spies watching my daughter?
Yeah.
The only reason that you would is if you were looking for something to basically
report back to you about,
Exactly.
report back to the king about, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's not. There's nothing that's going to be good that's going to come to you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she was feeding all the little kids in the homeless shelter. You know what I mean? They're
Right.
not going to go tell the king that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He's only looking for something negative. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think the king does probably. He says he doesn't believe it right away, but I think he probably very quickly turns that around.
Well, you see that at the end of the
Yeah.
episode too. That
But I think that is more so what he's worked up about. I think that he's starting to see Otto for playing the hands that he's been playing and doing a little bit of moving some pieces behind
again,
his
it
back.
took you this fucking long, and it took you for
No
him to
kidding.
tell you the truth, for you to realize like what's going on.
True.
Not good at his job.
Yep. We find out that, of course, not only was the king in the room, but Allison was there also the whole time, still in the bedchamber. She overheard everything her father said.
Doing the nail thing. Ugh.
Yeah, picking at a disgusting.
It's like such a
nails
small
again.
little thing. It's gross, but like it's a nice little touch. Like, yeah, oof, it's gross.
And sure enough, what is she gonna do? She's gonna leave the king's chamber. She's gonna send Cole to go get Raynara, and we're gonna have ourselves a little girl chat. We're going to find out exactly what happened. Allison wastes no time confronting her, says, my father said that you were fucking your uncle. Like, literally last night in a brothel.
To my response would be, you fucked my dad and had a baby, so... You know what I'm saying? Like,
touche,
what do you mean? Yeah, who cares? Like, why should you care? Like, you're literally carrying around my brother for crying out loud. Like, what do you mean?
True.
You know what I mean?
What I find very interesting, though, is how she reacts. I was not expecting this at all. Raynara looks her dead in the eye and lies right to her face.
Yeah, stone cold lie. Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Says, I went out with him. We had some fun. We saw a show. But Damon never, ever touched me.
Yeah.
I swore
it too,
on the
right,
memory of my mother.
Right. Yeah, I was like, oh, damn.
Happened.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, this bitch can lie. Yeah. And if you're going to be a good ruler, especially in Game of Thrones, you got to be able to lie, baby. You know what I'm saying? Turns, after kind of giving her own side of the story, a little missing out of information, telling her what she needs, but not all the whole story. Basically, Allison believes her, takes her. All right, you're gonna.
How can you have to? I mean, that's the way she portrayed it. The speech was very well. Yeah. It's very hard not to take her, not to take her side.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I feel like she kind of knows too. Like if she found out from Otto, or her dad, like I feel like she kind of knows that
her dad's a bit of a slime ball,
right? And like she knows what his ultimate goal is at the end of the day. So I think that was kind of in the back of her mind too.
I definitely think that there could be some truth to that, Seth. I do think that because she's going to mention almost so much herself shortly. But before we get to that, Daemon is going to get dragged into the throne room, hung over as a motherfucker, and now he's going to have his awkward conversation, and he's going to deal with last night's allegations. Only his is with the king.
Yep.
The king accuses Daemon of sullying his daughter, and Daemon just basically just doesn't deny it. He doesn't say that it did happen. Oh, fuck. Look, you want to do the... Actually, no, I'll do it. It's always the same time every week, huh?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's around the same time frame.
It's very strange. It's always the same time every week. No worse. We'll have to create some kind of a logo or something to put up there.
Like the generic, we'll be right back kind of thing.
Look, you want to fix that camera just a tiny bit, actually? Thank you, so. But like I said, Damon, doesn't say that it happened, but just doesn't deny it, basically.
Definitely not.
And then says, hey, we used to bang our way through the brothel houses when we were younger. Why should she not lose her virginity to me rather than just some common, brothel whore piece?
And the king actually, for once, has a valid thought. Because you're my fucking brother.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I was like, he's got a point.
Yeah, touche. Again, fair.
Don't like the king that much, but he had a point that time.
Yeah, and right away the king, of course, again, only kind of worried about his own shit, is like, who's going to take her now? What lord is going to take her now? And Daemon shows why he is really the dragon, not like his bitch-ass brother. He's like, dude, you're the fucking dragon. He's like, whatever you say is truth. Whatever you say is law.
Yeah.
It doesn't, you can tell the lords whatever you want. You're the king, dude. Be the king.
Yeah, who gives a
Stop
fuck?
worrying
Who
about
gives
all
a
these
fuck what
rumors
the
and
people
gossip.
think? Yeah.
Exactly. And he goes, dude, I'll fucking take her. I'll take her right now as she is.
Yeah, he said something like, I'll take her. I don't care about her flaws or something like that. Yeah. The way he said it was awesome.
Just lays his hand right down on the table, asks the king himself for his own niece's hand in marriage. Says, I'll marry her. King, you already have a wife. Again, we bringing up this same woman from the Vale. That I'm starting to think we're never going to see this woman. But
she's probably been dead for years.
Probably, yeah. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. David probably took her out already. But basically, Daemon, Aegon the Conqueror took 2 wives. I can take 2 wives. King's not having any of it. But it seems like this was kind of Daemon's plan all along, sort of. I feel like this whole episode, I feel like he came in, he was down on the knee, he's offering the crown, he's offering the stepstones. But I think he was still pissed that his brother tried to send help and aid after, 3 years of war that didn't go their way. They lost a bunch of troops. He was already banished before that. I think that he came to King's Landing with his new crown and his new swagger, and I think he was looking to cause some friction.
Yeah, plan was there, execution was terrible. Yeah, is what I would say. Just I don't think that's how he imagined it. You know what I mean? Coming up short, and then having to explain to the king what happened. So yeah, I think ultimately that was his plan. I just can't imagine that that's how he planned on executing said plan.
Yeah, you might be right. But, the king, for the second time now and in 4 episodes, banishes Daemon again. Get the fuck out of here. Don't ever come back. Daemon's like, all right, bro, whatever. And then lets out one of the most, I would say, realistic hungover moves of all time. Doesn't get up and leave the throne room. Just literally rolls right over on the floor and goes, I'm sleeping right here. I'm fucking hurting. Like, I hate leaving. I'll leave when I leave.
We've all been there. We've all had that following morning.
The whole scene, I thought he was perfect. I was like, this guy is hungover.
Yeah.
Like, I have been there.
Right.
It is everything. Conversations, moving, it's all miserable.
The cold floor.
It probably felt so good.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Oh, that was good. But then we go to a quick conversation with the king and his queen, Queen Alicent. Alicent basically just defends Rhaenyra again, says that she believes him. King says, why would Daemon lie? And Alicent says to fucking, sully your reputation, to ruin your look as king. So I think the king kind of starts to see, all right, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe fucking this whole thing was a ploy. Who knows?
It just goes to show that both high towers are not like, Alicent's not really controlling them as much, but both high towers, they have say over how the king feels and what he does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just more proof there with Alicent.
Yep. And then we kind of start to get to the end of our episode here. We get to the big scene where the king finally calls Rhaenyra to talk to her herself. Now that he's talked to Daemon, she's talked to Alicent. Let's have a conversation mano a mano. She comes into his chamber, and there's a fire going, and what's in there? The cat's paw dagger. Heating up in the flames. She goes to pull it out, and the king says, take a good look. The heat brings out a scripture, very Lord of the Rings-esque, actually.
Yeah.
But on the blade itself, the cat's paw dagger that we've seen in in Game of Thrones, that, tried to kill Bran, that eventually kills the Night King, has the story right on it inscribed, the Song of Ice and Fire, the dream that Aegon had, which I thought was an awesome, another, just tie-in to wrap the whole thing together. I thought that was so fucking cool. Yep. Especially to, so it's a weapon that we've already seen a bunch of in the show, like I said. Now we're going years earlier, but we're finding out new things about it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's...
And this is all, off script, too, right? Like, this isn't part of, the books or anything like that.
The cats,
even the fact that this is fresh...
Very
they
cool.
came up with it.
Awesome idea.
Very good too. Yeah,
I love it. It's a great way. It's not overboard, but it's a cool little way to tie.
Yeah, they're not jamming it down your throat or come up with anything far fetched. It's for an original script about it. Yeah, it's very well done.
Yep. But the king says, "Hey, listen, I don't fucking care about what happened with Prince Daemon. I don't care about the suitors anymore. The tour, that all that's over. You are going to marry Laenor Velaryon." And that's it. I'm done with it. We got to tighten up these families. We got to bring the people together. It's the best thing for everybody. Rich, ships, all of it. And she goes, okay, fine. I'll marry him. But let me tell you something. Only if you take care of that scumbag you have on your council who told you about what happened last night, who only had his own self-interest. He's been doing everything in his own self-interest.
Fair trade.
Tells the king exactly what a scumbag Otto Hightower is. All the moves that he's basically been making, puts it right out and open for the king, and it seems like now he's finally like, shit, how did I not see this sooner almost? You're right. Because what does he do in the very next scene? He calls Otto into his chamber, and ding dong, see you later, Otto. You're gone, bro. You're out of here.
Out of here, baby.
You're out of here.
Again, just the fact that it took him to finally tell the truth, to kick him out, is just wild to me. And again, just shows how bad the king is.
Thank God he finally did it, though.
You're out of here for reporting to me exactly what happened.
Better late than never,
Yeah, it does seem, though, when Rhaenyra said this to him, that his brain started doing some movements through the years, all the different little things. He starts mentioning all the way back to when Otto became king. He said that his brother was only a hand for 5 days. Yeah. He's like, dude, tournaments last long. He's like, I never thought about it.
He was just going through the years.
It was kind of fucking sketchy.
It took us 4 episodes to be like, yeah, this guy's got... You know what I mean? It took us 4 one-hour episodes. But, yeah.
Yep. He even mentioned...
Better late than never, like you said.
He brings up the fact that, when his wife died, he was obviously devastated and in mourning and stuff like that. And he's just like, who just so happened to be there but your daughter? A calculated distraction, he calls her.
Yeah.
Which I thought was, I'm like, all right, finally, he's a bad king, but it took him a while, but he's finally putting all the pieces together. We said bye-bye. Otto's gone. He takes the hand pin right off of him. You're done. You're gone. Get out of here. I was very pumped. I was very happy to see
Give him
that.
the Vince McMahon, you're fired.
Yeah, you're fired. But I don't think he's going to be gone for long. I'm sure that we're going to see just plenty of him coming up.
I got a feeling he might meet up with Lord Corliss.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. But if Corliss is I don't say like I don't know, not as smart as I think he is, but I think he knew what Hightower was up to the whole time that he was on the council. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think he knows enough about Hightower to be like, I don't trust you as far as I can throw you. Yeah, exactly.
It can always be remedied, especially back then. Everything can be remedied. Little princess here, you know what I mean? Marriage here, everything can come around. But then we get to the very, very last scene of the show. It was very quick, very funny. Not funny, but in a way it was funny. Basically, Rhaenyra's in her bedchamber. The maester comes in. He whipped up concoction for her on the King's demand. And basically, we have Plan B in Game of Thrones, ladies.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
He came in with his own little teacup of Plan B for Rhaenyra to take.
I gotta imagine it's not very enjoyable.
Oh, I bet it tastes awful.
Yeah.
Who knows what that shit
Plus,
possibly
just
is.
how it makes you feel.
Oh, my God. She just stares it down, though. I guess that they kind of leave it with the question to the audience. Is she going to drink it? She's just kind of...
Did she take it or not?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That would be
I hope not. I hope that her and
Cole?
Kristen Cole had a
Well,
something going on.
It's going to be very interesting, too, if she just agreed to a marriage, and if she's pregnant too soon, you know what I mean? That could be problematic.
Very.
But altogether, I thought it was a great episode. I loved it. It didn't have like the action that some Game of Thrones episode had, but it had all of the weird moments, the intriguing moments, the politics, the chess.
Now my thing is what I'm really looking forward to is next episode, because in the the trailers that they had, the next episode is a wedding, and when has a wedding ever gone well in Game of Thrones history?
Very great question.
When has a wedding ever gone where somebody hasn't been double crossed, killed, this, that, and the other? So I think the fact that next week's episode, they have a wedding. If history shows us anything, I can't imagine that it's going to just be a smooth wedding and everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, tune in Sunday night to find out.
Yep.
Yeah. It looks like it's going to be a good one. And like you said earlier, last episode we have before
you get the jump off.
And
so
the actors and actresses switch out.
Between that, it being a wedding, I don't know. I feel like something's got to give next episode. So I think something, I don't know what, but something's about to pop off next episode.
Yeah. Everyone enjoy your time with Princess Rhaenyra, because her actress is about to get switched out. But
which is a shame, because she's done a phenomenal job. I think they all had, even Allison. I think all the younger actors and actresses.
It's only four. It's them two, and then Lenore, who's the sea snake's son.
Too?
No, Matt Smith.
He's in. Nice.
No.
Okay.
It's Lenore, and then his the younger sister of the sea of Lenore. I think it's Lena.
Got it.
That they tried to marry off.
Yeah.
I think it's only them four that I switched out. Because most of the other ones are already old enough that they can just use makeup and shit like that.
Yeah,
they're
true.
At teenage years to adult years.
Yeah.
So they're doing a full swap. But like I said, one more episode with them.
I'm in love with Princess Rhaenyra. I am.
I have a feeling you're going to see more of her now going forward. I think she's going to start getting some roles and stuff. You know what I mean? She did a great job. I'm sure her stock's only going to go up from here. You know what I mean? But with that wraps up episode 4, House of the Dragon. One more episode, and we're at the midway point already, which is crazy. I feel like it's gone so fucking fast.
Yep.
Man. Too fast.
Yep. They just got to have it not during football season, not with the fucking Packers playing on Sunday night. But
are they Sunday night this week?
Yeah, Packers is Sunday night this week. So I'm about to go through the same thing that you just did.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, man. Whoever scheduled that game during the Brady
Who's the
game,
Packers playing?
Bears.
It should be an easy win.
Hey,
what could go wrong?
Yeah, what could go wrong? Anyways.
Yeah. But that's going to wrap it up for House of the Dragon. That's going to wrap it up for us here together as a show today. Great show. We hit it all. We did a bunch. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, please share the show around. Tell everybody. Tell your friends. Tell your family.
Please.
Just listen to it on the way to work and on the way home from work.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're all out of here. We're all out at 5 o'clock, fucking stuck in traffic. 24, 95, doesn't matter what it is. What are you listening to? 98.5 The Sports Hub, where they're just gonna bitch about the Patriots? Like,
Exactly.
just throw it on. Listen to it on
Have
the way
some
home.
fun here with your friends.
It's
you know
warm
what I
in here.
mean?
Come on in. There's plenty of seats up front. Like,
Definitely.
trickle in.
Cooking some dinner up at night, toss it on the speaker, grab a beer, glass of wine, listen to the boys, listen to your favorite shows.
Throw us a like, throw us a share, comment below. That's all we ask. Come on.
Please,
Thank
please,
you.
please,
please.
like the man said, do it for us because it really does help us out. With that, that's going to wrap us up here tonight. Kalos, as always, thank you, brother, for helping out on the ones and twos. Mr. Rogers, thank you again for being a guest. Well, we're definitely going to have you back again soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'll be switching over to Los's chair for Cobra Kai. So
Thursday, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's
Be on the
go.
lookout for that either Thursday night or Friday morning. We'll be back here breaking down the first 3 episodes of Cobra Kai, the 3 of us. So be on the lookout for that. But that's going to be it for tonight. Everybody happy watching. Take it easy.